Snake, press the left stick down on the radio screen to open the memory window. In the memory window, select a person to contact and press the Enter button. This saves you the time of adjusting the frequency. The battlefield airwaves are littered with various transmissions. You can find a real catch if you fiddle around enough. Snake, first you need to find that backpack you lost on the way down. Your backpack got caught on a tree to the north. Try heading in that direction. Snake, you said your backpack got caught on a tree branch, right?
Yeah.
Was there ivy growing on the tree?
There was, but...
Perfect.
Perfect?
Indeed. You can climb any ivy-covered tree by standing in front of the ivy and pressing the action button. Climb the tree and retrieve your backpack. Snake, see that fallen tree?
Yeah.
Check it out.
Why?
Just do it.
There's a crevice under this fallen tree.
If you lie down and crawl, you can wedge yourself into the crevice. To lie down and crawl from a standing position, press and hold the crawl button. When you want to stand back up, press and hold the crawl button again. Got it?
Yeah, but...
But what?
Was that the only reason?
What do you mean?
You had me check it just so you could tell me that?
That's right. Pretty useful, huh?
Right.
Shall we carry on?
By all means.
When you're out in nature, you'll find lots of places that you can crawl inside. You can use those places to hide from enemies. You'd be a fool not to take advantage of those hiding places, so always look around with first-person view and survey your surroundings. You can climb up onto waist-high objects by pressing the action button. Climbing can get you to locations that can't be accessed by walking, and it may help you reach items that can't be found normally. Don't forget to try climbing things. If you crawl into the grass, you can advance under cover. When you do, the camera automatically switches to intrusion view. If you want to stand up again, press and hold the crawl button once more. If you press the crawl button briefly, you'll crouch in that spot. This allows you to observe things without blowing your cover. Even when hidden in grass, if you make a noise, your enemies will locate you. When enemies are nearby, move with slight movements of the left stick. That way, you can proceed with minimal disturbance. Snake, where do you think you're going? You can't expect to proceed with the mission without any weapons or equipment. First, you'll need to recover your backpack. It's caught on a tree to the south. Press the action button to climb the tree and retrieve your backpack. Is that clear? Snake, did you climb that tree?
Yes.
Good. So the backpack?
Not yet.
Not yet? Don't tell me you went up the tree just to take in the view. Well, I must admit that's not a bad idea. Climbing a tree does give you a wider range of view. You can use it for scouting. But what you need to do now is retrieve your backpack. Understood?
Yeah.
The backpack is on the branch pointing east on that tree, right? Walk along the branch and get it. Be careful not to fall. You should be able to grab your backpack if you hang from the branch by pressing the action button. Sokolov should be at the abandoned factory to the north, so head in that direction. Snake, intelligence indicates that that area is outside the enemy's cordon, so you shouldn't have any unexpected encounters with enemy patrols. I think it will be a good idea to take this time to get accustomed to using your camouflage, hunting for food, and navigating the survival viewer. If you have any questions about camouflage or CQC, ask the boss. The boss's frequency is 141.80. Paramedic is the medical correspondent for this mission. Ask her about hunting for food and medical treatment. Also, she has documents detailing flora and fauna in the operation locale. Contact her if you need detailed information on any of the plants and animals in your area. Paramedic's frequency is 145.73. Snake, remember that this operation is a solo sneaking mission. We'll be providing you with support over the radio, but out in the field you're on your own. There's no backup. And there's no way you'll survive a battle with a large enemy contingent. Avoid engagement whenever possible. Your highest priority in this mission is staying out of sight. Snake, when your stamina gets low, it negatively affects your physical abilities. You've got to replenish your stamina before it runs out.
The gauge below your life gauge is your stamina gauge. It shows, as the name suggests, your remaining stamina. As you consume stamina, your natural life regeneration is slowed and your hands shake more. Your O2 gauge and grip gauge also become shorter. Excessively low stamina can often impede your mission objectives. Make sure you replenish stamina before that occurs. Eat food to recover stamina. Capture plants and animals to get food. I have information on the local plants and animals, so don't hesitate to ask. My frequency is 145.73.
Your actions can lower your stamina. The more demanding the activity, the more stamina consumed.
Exactly. Walking slowly will conserve stamina, while actions like rolling, crawling, and stalking consume large amounts of it. Try your best to avoid unnecessary actions in order to conserve stamina.
Snake, use the survival viewer to pick your camouflage, treat wounds, and eat food. Ask the boss or paramedic about the details. The boss's frequency is 141.80. Snake, in order to carry out the mission without being spotted, you must learn to detect an approaching enemy well ahead of time. Press the first-person view button and use the first-person view to constantly check your surroundings as you proceed.
Press the first-person view button to switch to the first-person view. In first-person view, you can look at your surroundings through your own eyes. The overhead view's range is limited. If you plow ahead using only the overhead view, you put yourself in danger of running into an enemy without even realizing he was there. Make regular stops and check your surroundings with first-person view. Okay, Snake?
You can use an equipped weapon during first-person view. This is called a first-person view attack. When using first-person view attack, you can direct your line of fire up, down, left, or right.
The first-person view attack is a fundamental part of gunfighting. It allows you to aim in directions impossible to hit with the overhead view, like shooting enemies that are above or below you. It also makes it possible to aim for your enemy's weak points. When you need to take an enemy out in one shot, use a first-person view attack and aim for the head.
Snake, making it harder for the enemy to spot you isn't the only advantage to maintaining a high camo index. The harder you are to distinguish from your surroundings, the harder you are to hit. In other words, the enemy's shots will miss more often. Do everything you can to keep your camo index high at all times. Snake, be careful. The way to change between standing, crouching, and crawling has changed slightly from the methods learned in training. When standing, press the crawl button briefly to crouch, and press and hold to take a crawling position. Since by crouching you take a lower position, it has a higher camo index than standing. And the added stability of crouching lessens the effect of gun recoil. If you try shooting while crouching, you'll notice your shots will bunch together more consistently than when standing. Press the crawl button while crouching to stand up, and move the left stick to crawl in a direction. When crawling, your camo index becomes extremely high, and your firing of guns becomes even more stable than while crouching. You can move the left stick while on your stomach to crawl in a particular direction. When you are crawling, use small movements of the left stick to crawl silently at the expense of speed. However, be warned that crawling consumes more stamina than simply walking. Press and hold the crawl button while in crawl position to stand up. Press the crawl button briefly to switch to crouch position. Don't forget, if you want to stand up quickly from a crawling position, press and hold the crawl button. When you're in the jungle, determining the position of your enemies is important. That's why you've been supplied with sensors. Use them well. The motion detector senses activity in your immediate vicinity. However, in the jungle, a lot of things other than your enemies are moving. Animals moving around will show up on the sensor just like anything else. Also, the motion detector is only so sensitive. Don't forget that certain enemies and animals that make only slight movements will not be detected. Press the left stick to initiate the active sonar and emit a special sonic wave. The reflected sound from the sonic wave reveals the positions of targeted objects. In contrast to the motion detector, The active sonar reveals still objects as well. However, there's a risk that the sound of the sonic wave will reveal your position to enemies and animals, so be careful when using the active sonar. The anti-personnel sensor vibrates when it detects human life forms. Unlike other sensors, the anti-personnel sensor has been adjusted to react to humans only, eliminating noise from animal detection. It can detect hidden, unmoving enemies, and the use of it doesn't betray your own position. But on the other hand, its accuracy lacks a bit as it has trouble revealing the exact position of detected bodies. Keep that in mind. When you use it during first-person view, it'll work only in the direction you're facing. Your sensors and other electronic devices cannot be used indefinitely. Once they're activated, they consume battery power. Remember, all items draw power from a single battery. Once your battery runs out, all electronic gear becomes inoperable. You can check your remaining battery power with the icon of any item that uses electricity. Take care not to waste power. The battery recharges automatically when not in use. When you want to recharge the battery, unequip all electronic devices and give it some time. The higher your stamina gauge, the faster your battery recharges. If you want it to recharge faster, eat food and recover your stamina. Also, if you run, roll, or do other dramatic actions, the battery will recharge faster.
Wait a second.
What is it?
The higher my stamina, the faster my battery recharges?
That's what I said.
But what does my stamina have to do with the battery?
Oh, yes, I see what you're getting at. Let's have Paramedic explain that. Paramedic?
Yes, sir. It's because Snake's battery uses bioelectricity.
Bioelectricity.
Bioelectricity is electricity emitted from cells. When the cells of living things are stimulated, sodium and potassium ions move rapidly through the cell membrane's ion channel, creating a difference in electric potential. The battery uses that energy to recharge. So unless your cells have plenty of nutrients, the recharge won't work well.
Amazing the kind of machines that are available now.
But this machine has not been made public. It was designed by a scientist at the CIA's Directorate of Science and Technology.
What kind of person was he?
The person who designed it?
Yeah.
I heard he was pretty strange.
Stranger than the Major?
There's nothing strange about the Major.
My tea's gone. Who drank it? How am I supposed to have tea time without tea?
Well, not too strange, at least.
Hey, my scone's gone too. Snake, what do you do when you get a new weapon or item?
I put it in my backpack first.
But you know that you can't equip items that are still in your backpack, right?
Yeah. The only things that can be equipped with the weapon and item window buttons are items on my person.
Correct. If you want to equip an item, first you have to remove it from your backpack.
To place a weapon on your person, go to the Survival Viewer, then Backpack, then select Weapon. A list of weapons will be shown in a window in the upper left. Select the weapon you wish to put on your person with the left stick and press the Enter button to remove the weapon from your backpack and equip it to your person. However, you can only carry so many weapons at once on your person. Put unnecessary weapons back into your backpack. Select a weapon on your person from the weapon list and press the Enter button to put that weapon into your backpack. Your situation determines what weapons are most useful. Consider this when choosing which weapons to put on your person. Okay, Snake?
Snake, aiming your gun during first-person view is a bit different from what you're used to in training.
When you aim your handgun in first-person view, align the front sight and the rear sight of the gun with the target, then fire. For the assault rifle and certain other weapons, pressing the weapon button will first ready the gun for shooting from the hip. If you're in a close quarters fight or other situation that requires immediate action, fire from that position. Observe where your shots are hitting and correct your aim accordingly.
I understand, but that doesn't sound too accurate.
Of course not. So when you require pinpoint targeting, like when firing from afar or sniping, hold the aim button to aim. Carefully align your front and rear sights to concentrate fire and gain a sharper view on your target.
Snake, the Soviet troops are not your only enemies.
How do you mean?
Nature.
Boss?
Poisonous snakes, scorpions, crocodiles, hornets. There are dozens of dangerous life forms living in Selinoyarsk. There are even poisonous mushrooms and frogs, and other plants and animals that you must not eat. In order to survive in nature, you have to know nature.
Paramedic has information on the flora and fauna in each area. Ask her for the details. Paramedic's frequency is 145.73. Snake, I don't recommend running around wildly. You need to determine when it's best to run and when it's best just to walk. Move the left stick slightly to walk. You won't move very fast, but it consumes little stamina, and enemies are less likely to detect you. When you are near enemies or when you need to conserve stamina, those are good times to walk. Snake, there are other ways to recover your stamina besides eating.
Such as?
Such as taking a rest.
A rest?
To take a rest, all you have to do is save and exit the game. The next time you load your save data and continue the game, your stamina and life will have recovered. How much they've recovered depends on how long of a rest you take.
So the longer I rest, the more I'll recover.
That's right. If you're so exhausted that you don't even have the strength to find food, save the game and take a rest and you'll be back on your feet.
I hope that never happens.
So do I. But you never know. Just don't forget, okay?
I won't.
In most areas outdoors, your footsteps will create some noise, even if you walk slowly by using small movements of the left stick. This could alert nearby enemies to your presence. If you need to sneak up behind an enemy, use a directional button to utilize stalking.
Stalking is a movement technique that eliminates even the sound of your footsteps. Stalking involves putting your weight on your rear foot, then stepping forward slowly with your front foot. Before putting down the front foot, use the tip of your foot to check for dangerous objects or branches that might create a noise when stepped upon. Once you've determined the spot is safe to step on, slowly lower your foot to the ground, placing it down from the outside edge first, and then slowly lowering your weight onto the foot. Throughout the entire process, you have to strain your calves to retain balance. But all you need to do is press the directional button in the direction you wish to move. When stalking, you can move without creating sound with your footsteps. And since your posture is low while stalking, you are that much less likely to be spotted by the enemy. Since you move cautiously while stalking, you will be able to detect a trap on the ground before it is set off. However, the slow, concentrated movement while stalking consumes high amounts of stamina. Switch between walking and running with the left stick and stalking with the directional buttons depending on the situation.
With an equipped weapon in overhead view, press and hold the aim button to lock your line of fire while moving in any given direction. Use this for charges or retreats, or any other time that you want to concentrate fire in one direction while moving. The degree to which you move the left stick not only changes your walking speed, but changes your speed when crawling and for intrusion movement. With large movements of the left stick, you can move faster, but you'll make noise and give yourself away to nearby enemies. With slight movements of the left stick, you can move in silence. It sacrifices speed, but it's the best choice for the times when creating noise presents significant risk. Snake, if you step in any water or mud, your feet will get wet. If you walk like that, you'll leave footprints behind and the enemy may follow them straight to you. Try to avoid walking through any water or mud as much as possible. However, if your feet do get wet, just crawl to avoid leaving any footprints behind. When you don't want anybody following your trail, make sure to crawl. Equip food as a weapon and press the weapon button to throw the food. If you throw a live animal near an enemy, you may be able to distract him. If an enemy is really hungry, he may pounce at the prospect of food. You have minimal gear on this mission, and you have to make the most use out of anything you can procure on the ground. Snake, the Mark 22 is a tranquilizer gun. Use it to put enemies to sleep without harming them. The speed with which the tranquilizer takes effect depends on the point of impact on the enemy. If a target is hit on the arm or leg, the tranquilizer won't take effect immediately, but a target hit on the head will drop like a fly. If you want to take an enemy out in a flash, aim for the head. Snake, let me explain the enemy's various states of alert. First of all, there's the state in which the enemy in that area doesn't know that you're there. This is called normal phase. In normal phase, the enemy will follow normal procedures for patrols and other activities. They won't present much of a danger to you. But if they spot an intruder, that means you, they'll attack in an attempt to neutralize you. This is called alert phase. Alert phase will last until the enemy loses sight of you. Even after they lose sight of you, the enemy will continue to search the area for a while. This is called evasion phase. Evasion phase will last until the enemy exhausts their search effort. Once evasion phase is over, the enemy should return to base. After the search is aborted, the enemy will enter caution phase. In caution phase, enemy soldiers will be more cautious in their patrols, and they'll likely be more difficult to detect. In addition to the regular patrols, there's also a chance that they'll send out additional search units. Keep on your toes. After you've grabbed an enemy from behind with CQC, you can interrogate him by pressing the left stick. This is an opportunity to gain intelligence. Some of your enemies have valuable information, so give the technique a try and see what you can learn. Press the crawl button during a run to commence a roll. For a brief interval, you'll perform a jump which can be used to knock down enemies. In contrast to the training you've done so far, you can use rolling to jump waist-high objects. However, remember that rolling consumes more stamina than standard running. Snake, remember that the suppressor is a limited commodity.
I know. No suppressor lasts forever.
Exactly. When the suppressor's durability wears away, it breaks beyond repair. See the weapon icon to check the suppressor's present level of durability. Remove the suppressor from your gun if you want to make it last. Select the weapon that the suppressor is on with the weapon window button, and press the Enter button to attach or detach the suppressor. Regulate usage of the suppressor based on the situation. Snake, certain enemy soldiers are equipped with radios. These signalers can use their radios to transmit information to and from the command headquarters. If a signaler realizes your presence, you can bet he'll be on the horn calling backup from headquarters. After headquarters receives the call for backup, they contact a nearby unit and order them to head over to give support. Once backup arrives, your enemies will outnumber you beyond hope for victory. It'll be too much for even you to handle. If you notice a signaler making a call for backup with his radio, take him out before he has the chance. If the call gets through, retreat before the backup unit arrives. If you hang around too long, you'll find yourself immensely outmatched. Got it? It's possible to destroy the radio that enemy correspondents use. If you must get involved in a fight, destroying the radio first will allow you to concentrate on the battle without worrying about reinforcements. Snake, this operation is a sneaking mission. You'll be doing your job right under the enemy's nose. In the event that you're spotted by an enemy, disable him before he can alert nearby soldiers. If you can take him out before he alerts other enemies of your presence, then the alert phase will quickly be restored to normal phase. But don't forget, even this should only happen in emergencies. Your top priority is to avoid being spotted by the enemy in the first place. Be effective. Snake, I recommend against leaving the bodies of your victims lying around. If the enemy spots a fallen comrade, they'll realize that they've been infiltrated and strengthen their guard. When you kill an enemy, hide the body in the grass or at some other location where it won't be spotted. Stand near a fallen enemy and press the weapon button with no weapon equipped to grab the body. Hold the weapon button and move to drag the body. Release the weapon button to put the body down. Snake, the damage that an enemy takes from your gun depends on where you hit him. If you hit an arm or leg, one shot won't be enough to finish him. If you want to take an enemy out in one shot, you'll have to use a first-person view attack and get a solid shot to the head. You can get inside trees that are hollowed out from decay. Entering a hollow is an effective method for gaining temporary cover from enemies. However, if you're caught entering the tree, you'll take concentrated fire. If they throw a grenade in on you, you'll be torn to shreds. Be careful. Snake, when you stand up against a tree or put your back against the wall near a corner, the the camera lowers and gives you a view of behind. This is the corner view. This allows you to keep track of what's occurring behind you when hiding in protected areas. Also, there are a variety of actions possible while hiding, including using the left and right step buttons to peek, and the weapon button to take jump-out shots. Learning how to take advantage of the corner view is the first step towards mission success. Use it to your utmost advantage. In the corner view, press the left step button or the right step button to stick yourself out from a protected area and look over your shoulder. We'll call this action peeking. Peeking is effective for observation, since it gives you a wider range of vision than the normal corner view. However, since it involves revealing part of your body, you put yourself at risk of being spotted by the enemy. Move the right stick with the corner view on to shift the camera in that direction. This won't give you the same wide angle as peeking with the left and right step buttons, but it is safer since it will keep you from exposing your body too much. You'll do well to get accustomed to it. If you have a gun equipped during the corner view, press the weapon button to jump out and take a jump out shot. With the jump out shot technique, you can stay protected from enemy fire behind an obstruction and launch a burst attack when the time is right. This is a crucial technique for firefights. Use it well. By equipping grenades and pressing the weapon button in corner view mode, you can throw a grenade while hiding behind a barrier. This technique should come in handy during a firefight. Use it well. Press the action button when you're on top of a branch or in front of a railing to hang down from that spot. This action is called hanging. Sometimes it's advantageous to move while hanging rather than walking on the surface. Also, by hanging, you can hide by staying out of the sight of your enemies. While hanging, use the left stick, left step button, and right step button to move left and right. When you want to climb back up from your hanging position, press the action button once more. If you want to drop down, press the crawl button. You can't keep hanging forever. Once you run out of grip strength, you'll fall. Check your grip strength with the grip gauge. When you hang, a blue gauge appears above the stamina gauge. This is the grip gauge. It indicates the status of your grip. When hanging, the grip gauge drops. When the grip gauge expires, you will fall, so you must climb back up before that happens. The length of the grip gauge depends upon your stamina. If you need to hang for a long period, you'll have to revive your stamina first. If there's something to grab onto during a fall, press the action button when you pass in front of it. If you get the timing right, you'll be able to grab and hang onto that area. With this technique, you can reach locations that are inaccessible by other means. You may even find some rare items this way. Observe your geographic surroundings and try to find spots that you could grab during a fall. Press the crawl button while hanging to drop straight down. You can knock an enemy instantly unconscious with this technique if you land on top of him. When you're in a tree, try aiming for an enemy passing beneath. Press the action button from on top a branch to hang down from the tree, but you can only remain hanging as long as your grip strength lasts. Keep an eye on your grip gauge when dangling from a tree. Be careful. With low stamina, your grip won't last long.
Even while hanging, you can fire your handgun with one arm. And if you're attacked during a hanging maneuver, don't panic and claim the advantage.
If you approach an enemy undetected, you can render him defenseless by jutting a gun into his body from behind. This is called a holdup. However, even after rendering an enemy defenseless, if he notices you put your weapon away or start to walk away, he will attack. So, be careful. When you hold an enemy up, sometimes he will give you an item. Conducting a hold-up presents risks, but it is a useful technique when you're running low on ammunition or medical items. After you've received an item from a hold-up, you might try holding the enemy up again. He might give up a more precious, hidden item. Press the CQC button when you're up against a wall to knock on the wall and make a sound. Creating sounds can attract the attention of enemies. There are many ways to use sound to your advantage. Use it to lure an enemy in the wrong direction. Then use that opportunity to slip by. Or lure an enemy near you, then ambush the enemy from behind. Use it to your utmost advantage. Snake, if you find an item box, use first-person view to take a good look and find out what's inside. Sometimes it's dangerous to blindly go after an item. That's why you should check first to make sure the item in the item box is worth the trouble. If you can't get a good look, you can use your binoculars. When you press the weapon button with the handgun, you aim, and when you release it, you fire. If, after aiming, you wish to withdraw your aim without firing, release the weapon button slowly. You'll just have to practice until you get the hang of it. I've heard of a lot of cases where fresh recruits accidentally fired on enemies during a hold-up. If you train yourself now, you won't be liable to misfire when the pressure's on. If you're unsure of yourself, you should practice. The assault rifle works a little differently from the handgun. Press the weapon button lightly to aim and press the weapon button fully to fire. If you want to lower the weapon without firing, such as during a hold-up, just release the weapon button without fully pressing it. Be careful not to fire the weapon the moment you aim. The distance that you throw grenades and other throwable weapons is determined by how hard you press the weapon button. A light press of the weapon button will toss the weapon nearby, while a hard press of the button will hurl it farther. Adjust the strength of the button press as appropriate. You can also throw in first-person view. With this view, you can throw more accurately at specific targets. Use it as necessary. In first-person view, use the right step button to take one step right and the left step button to take a step left. Use it to attack while hiding behind barriers and to step out of hidden spots to scout. During first-person view, press the left and right step buttons at the same time to stretch up slightly from that position. It's useful when you're hiding behind barriers and scouting or in a shootout. When you creep inside a small space, the overhead view switches to the intrusion view. Movement during the intrusion view is a bit different from movement during the overhead view. Use up on the left stick to advance, down to go backwards, and left and right to rotate. Use directional button left and right to shift left and right. With large movements of the left stick, you move faster but create sound. Nearby enemies might notice you. With slight movements of the left stick, you can move without making a sound, but at the expense of speed. Use both types of movement in appropriate situations. Snake, did you notice that when you knock an enemy unconscious, stars appear over his head? If you take a close look at the stars above the enemy's head, you'll notice that they gradually disappear, one at a time. Once the stars are all gone, the enemy becomes conscious again and returns to battle. So, when you knock out an enemy, be sure to plan for his recovery. Each time you use up the ammunition in a magazine, you'll need to load the next one. You'll be vulnerable while changing magazines, so always be aware of your remaining bullets. Remaining bullets are displayed in an icon. You may want to carry out a tactical reload before the magazine is fully used.
A tactical reload is a change of magazines carried out before the bullets in the magazine are completely used up. It keeps you from running out of bullets near your enemies, so that you can keep up your level of firepower, and you will always have a bullet in your chamber. The trick is, don't lower your gun or your line of sight when reloading. Keep your line of sight up and concentrate on your surroundings while changing magazines. And don't forget to retrieve magazines that still have bullets remaining in them. The actual procedure involves unequipping your gun and then equipping it once again. That will load the gun with a new magazine. I recommend pressing the weapon window button quickly to carry out a quick reload.
When you get hurt, your body will heal itself naturally over time. However, the speed at which your life recovers depends on how much stamina you have at the time. The more stamina you have, the faster you'll recover. So if you want your wounds to heal quickly, you should eat something and replenish your stamina first.
Equipment captured in the field often needs to be fixed or have its parts replaced before it can be used. But you won't need to worry about that in this mission.
Why's that?
Because your adversaries are highly trained professionals. They'll no doubt have made sure their reserve gear is in working condition.
So in other words, I can use the stuff I pick up right away?
Right. One more thing. When you pick up a new item, don't forget to read its description in the window. Camouflage is an indispensable tool when you're sneaking through the jungle. To use camouflage, first press the Start button to go to the Survival viewer. Then select Camouflage and press the Enter button. Select Uniform to select Battle Fatigues, and Face to select Face Paint. Choose battle fatigues that match the surrounding environment. The most effective camouflage is attained by selecting fatigues that blend in with the environment. Camouflage patterns that stand out in your surroundings will attract attention. Visibility is poor in the jungle, so you'll be finding yourself in a lot of unexpected encounters. Naturally, this means that close quarters combat will be more important than ever.
So I'll have plenty of chances to use CQC then.
That's right. In proximity encounters, firing a gun isn't necessarily the best response to every situation. It's only one option among many. Rather than taking the time to draw, aim, and fire a gun, engaging your opponent in hand-to-hand combat can sometimes be a faster and more reliable way of subduing him. Besides, in a sneaking mission like this one, it's too dangerous to go around firing your gun. You'll end up revealing yourself to the enemy.
Yeah, I know. You created CQC to deal with exactly this type of situation.
With your help, of course. In a battle situation, you'll only have a split second to decide how to attack. Use the Weapon button to attack using a weapon, and the CQC button to attack using CQC. Press the CQC button once to throw a punch. Pressing it multiple times in succession will allow you to deliver a combo attack. But striking your opponent is just one aspect of CQC. It doesn't really start to shine until you've got your enemy in a hold. Press and hold down the CQC button to grab your opponent with your right hand. From there, you can use the left stick to knock your opponent off balance and throw him to the ground. This can be used to knock an opponent out in a single blow. If you don't press the left stick, grapple with your enemy until you're behind them and can get your knife to their throat. Grabbing an enemy from behind and holding your knife against his throat will render him virtually powerless. From this point, there are several things you can do. Press the CQC button hard to slit the enemy's throat with your knife. Move the left stick and press the CQC button to throw the enemy to the ground. Lightly tap the CQC button rapidly to choke the enemy. You can use this to knock him out or even kill him if you do it long enough. By continuing to hold down the CQC button, you can move around while keeping your grip on the enemy. By pressing the Weapon button, you can aim your currently equipped weapon at another enemy. With their comrade acting as a human shield, the enemy will be reluctant to attack you. Press the left stick to press your knife against the enemy and demand information. You'll be surprised at how much you can learn this way. But don't get too complacent. While your enemy may be powerless in your grip, he'll use any opportunity he can to counterattack. You can only use CQC to grab enemies when your right hand is free to grab and pull them toward you. In other words, when you're barehanded or equipped with a one-handed weapon like a survival knife or a handgun. You won't be able to grab hold of enemies when equipped with two-handed weapons, such as the assault rifle or weapons such as hand grenades that don't leave your right hand free to control the enemy.
So in other words, I can't throw enemies with CQC when I'm holding an assault rifle or a hand grenade.
Exactly. Don't forget it. Normally, you would ask a fellow soldier how well your camouflage is working. But this is a solo sneaking mission, so nobody out there is on your side. You have to determine how well your camouflage is working by yourself.
Yeah, I know.
Don't worry, that's what the camo index is for. The camo index tells you how well you've imitated the surroundings. The higher the index, the more well disguised you are. With a high enough camo index, you can even fool enemies inches away. If you are in an area where encounters are a high concern, keep your camo index high. Got it? This is a solo sneaking mission. There's no one out there to support you. You'll need to be more than just a soldier. You'll have to be a medic, a pilot, and even a cook.
You don't need to remind me.
I'm glad to hear that.
Glad to hear what?
That you haven't changed a bit. The truth is, you're nervous, aren't you?
I'm not nervous.
There's no need to be embarrassed. No one's ever attempted a mission like this before. In fact, you might say that getting nervous is the natural way to react. Relax. That's why you have the survival viewer. The survival viewer contains everything you'll need to stay alive in the field. Use camouflage to change your camouflage, backpack to select a weapon, food to eat, and cure to heal yourself. The map option lets you view the map, and the options function lets you change the settings to suit your individual style. The survival viewer is going to be your best friend in this mission, so learn to make the most of it. It takes more than just clothes to make a good disguise. To camouflage yourself effectively, you'll need to wear face paint. Face paint is camouflage applied to the face. Bare skin sticks out like a sore thumb in the jungle, so always protect yourself with face paint. Choose a color that matches the features of your surroundings, and use your finger to apply the face paint. Start by applying a light color, then gradually move up in darkness. That way, even if you make a mistake, you can cover it up with a later, darker color. In order to flatten the appearance of your face, use light colors on areas of the face that recede, and dark colors on areas that protrude. Open the survival viewer, go to camouflage, then select face, and you'll find a selection of face paints. Be sure to select a face paint that makes you blend right into your surroundings, okay? Camouflage is about blending in with nature. To ensure effective camouflage, you have to stay low and keep still. As long as you have camouflage fatigues, face paint that matches the environment, and lay on your stomach, you don't need to be concerned with being spotted by distant enemies. On the other hand, no amount of camouflage will keep you hidden from the enemy if you're running around. So when you need to hide from the enemy, lie as low as possible and stay still. You can check the camo index to see how your movement and position affects the quality of your disguise. To place a weapon on your person, go to the survival viewer, then backpack, then select weapon. A list of weapons will be shown in a window in the upper left. Select the weapon you wish to put on your person with the left stick and press the Enter button to remove the weapon from your backpack and equip it to your person. However, you can only carry so many weapons at once on your person. Put unnecessary weapons back into your backpack. Select a weapon on your person from the weapon list and press the Enter button to put that weapon into your backpack. Your situation determines what weapons are most useful. Consider this when choosing which weapons to put on your person. Okay, Snake? The sooner you find the enemy, the better you'll be able to deal with the situation. So be sure to make use of sensors like the motion detector and active sonar. Select Map in the survival viewer to view a map of the area you're currently in. It shows your present location and the places you've been to. In addition, if you acquire information from enemies, the map may also display enemy unit positions and the location of items. To get information from an enemy, grab him from behind using CQC and press the left stick. To succeed in any mission, knowing how to put information about the zone of operation to effective use will be essential. Map will serve you well. Keep in mind that your weapons and equipment each have their own weight. Storing a heavy item on your person will cause your stamina to drain more quickly. If you're getting tired or want to conserve your stamina, it's a good idea to put any items you're not going to use back into your backpack. Treetops, bushes, hollow logs. There are plenty of places in nature you can use to hide yourself. Search each area carefully in first-person view. Use nature to its fullest extent. You'll thank me later. If you rapid-fire the assault rifle, the recoil of the gun will cause your shots to stray from their intended targets. Firing from a crouched position or while lying on your stomach will stabilize the recoil and keep your hits more consistent. When you see an enemy, the first thing to do is conceal yourself and watch what he's doing. If you make any sudden moves, your camo index will decrease, and there's a good chance the enemy will catch sight of you. And don't start to panic just because an enemy is acting like he knows you're there. It doesn't necessarily mean he's figured out exactly where you are. As long as you hide someplace like the bushes and stay perfectly still, you'll usually come out all right. Stay calm, keep a grip on the situation, and use clear judgment. Got it? Your ultimate objective in this mission is to find Sokolov and get him to safety, not to slaughter the enemy.
So basically, I should avoid getting into battles, right? You don't have to tell me.
To avoid battles, it will be essential to scout out the enemy's numbers and positions. That's what your binoculars are for. Your objective in this mission isn't to get into fights. But if you're faced with a situation where you have no choice but to get rid of an enemy, attack him from behind. If you use stalking to sneak up behind an enemy and take him out in one strike, the other enemies probably won't even notice. If it doesn't look like you'll be able to sneak up from behind, wait for him to come toward you. Either figure out the enemy's patrol route and get there before he does, or make a sound or throw something to get his attention. And if he does spot you, don't hesitate. Take him out before he has a chance to alert his comrades to your presence. Got it? Enemies pose a greater threat when they patrol in squads. The members of a squad are constantly watching out for each other, making it difficult to take them out without being noticed. If you absolutely have to attack a squad, use CQC or a gun equipped with a suppressor and start with the last one in line, then work your way up. If confronted with multiple enemies during a standard operating procedure, you'd retreat and call for backup, but that's not an option in this mission. If you encounter multiple enemies, either find a way to go around them, or if it looks like you'll have to eliminate them, lure them over one at a time and take them out that way.
Snake, did you find food?
Yeah,
You sound happy.
I am.
Do you know how to eat it? Then let me explain. To eat food, press the Start button to enter the survival viewer, then select Food. Select the food you want to eat and press the Enter button. Select Eat and you will eat the selected food. When you eat, you will recover your stamina, but the extent of recovery depends on what you eat. When your stamina is down only slightly, you should save your tastier morsels for later. But don't leave food for too long or it'll rot. This is where a little planning ahead goes a long way.
Besides eating food, you can throw it at enemies to confuse them. So remember, food is not just for eating. Be creative. Snake, be careful of that swamp.
What's dangerous about it?
It's a bottomless swamp.
A bottomless swamp?
Yes, the mud in that swamp is highly viscous. It will stick to your body like tar. It will be impossible for you to swim. If you get swallowed by the bottomless swamp, you won't be able to escape on your own. Once you sink down to about head level, you'll be trapped for good. Make sure you get out before that happens.
You can capture animals alive by using the tranquilizer gun or a mousetrap. When you capture a live animal, you can carry it on you as a weapon by going to Backpack in the survival viewer. Once an animal is on your person, equip it and press the weapon button to throw it. Throwing a venomous animal at an enemy might be enough to knock him out. Even non-venomous animals like frogs can be used to distract the enemy's attention. And since I know you're going to ask me, yes, keeping animals alive prevents them from rotting and makes them taste better when you eat them. Remember, though, you've only got 3 cages for capturing live animals.
Snake, crocodiles inhabit that area. One bite could take you right out of action. Avoid approaching them head on. Snake, do you read? Snake!
Major.
Snake, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You're far from okay. Look at your life gauge. You're on your last leg.
No, I can still...
See?
Snake, this is a solo sneaking mission. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Huh?
It means there's no backup, no cavalry. If you're taken out, nobody is there to take your place. Pull out for now and recuperate.
Find a hiding place and get some rest. Your life gauge will gradually recover with time. But the speed of your life gauge recovery depends on the level of your stamina gauge. So get plenty to eat, then get some rest. You hear me? Do you hear me?
I hear you.
Snake, once you head further north, you'll be entering enemy territory. You'd best get used to using camouflage and hunting for food while you have the convenience. Snake, that region is inside the enemy's area of control.
I know. Time for the real deal.
The enemy is running regular patrols. You don't know when or where you might run into them. Use camouflage prudently and proceed with caution. Snake, Camouflage uniforms alone are not enough. You'll need to put on face paint as well. Snake, camouflage and face paint alone won't make you blend in completely. In addition to the camouflage itself, your physical position is a crucial dynamic you should keep in mind.
You said the enemy is equipped with AK-47s, didn't you? The AK-47 is the official assault rifle of the Soviet Army. It's employed not only by the Soviets, but throughout the entire Eastern Bloc. It uses 7.62 millimeter by 39 ammunitions, with a magazine capacity of 30 rounds. The AK is reliable, precise, powerful, and easy to handle. In short, one of the best assault rifles there is. Don't even think about getting into a one-man firefight against an enemy unit equipped with AKs. Avoid battle as much as possible. Are we clear? You mentioned the enemy was also carrying grenades, correct? Those grenades are RGD-5s, the standard blast fragmentation grenade of the Soviet Army. You can protect yourself from a large part of the blast and shrapnel from a grenade by lying flat on the ground. If someone throws a grenade at you and you sense that you can't get away in time, get into a crawl position. It should reduce the damage to a minimum.
Snake, when you knock down a hornet's nest, a large swarm of hornets will come flying out. If used wisely, this can sow panic among the enemy, but if you're not careful, the hornets may end up attacking you.
If you're attacked by hornets, wiggle the left stick around and wave your survival knife to shoo them away. Smoke is another useful tool in keeping hornets away. If you're attacked by hornets, I'd advise you to try using a smoke grenade. And if you use the insecticidal bug juice, the hornet should stay away as long as the effect lasts. Hornets are prone to becoming agitated and aggressive when they see the color black. Their attacks will be more vicious if you're wearing black clothes. If you're attacked by hornets, you should change into white clothes.
A suspension bridge, is it? If you cross that, you'll be revealed to enemies in every direction. To cross the bridge, you'll have to do something about the enemies in the area first. You could put them to sleep with a long-range tranquilizer shot, or you could get in close, lure them to you, and take them out.
Use a first-person view attack to hit enemies from afar, but be warned, if you don't take them out in one hit, your cover will be blown. When attacking from afar, it's crucial that you hit a vital spot dead on. To lure an enemy to you, deliberately make a noise or throw food at him to get his attention. It's going to be tough to cross over that suspension bridge without being seen by the enemy. You'll have to figure out some way to get rid of the sentries first. You said it's a suspension bridge, right?
Yeah,
Supported by rope?
that's right.
If you cut the rope, the suspension bridge should sway quite a bit. You may be able to shake the enemies off the bridge. Your weapons aren't the only way to take out enemies. Use your head.
Snake, I'm sure you realize that a fall into that canyon would be instant death. Of course, the same goes for enemies. Snake, if you fall from that cliff, you're dead meat. Climb up before you lose your grip strength. Whatever happens, don't let go. Snake, Sokolov is imprisoned in the northeast area of the factory.
Got it. To the northeast.
Yes, and don't engage the enemy. The object of this mission is to bring Sokolov back safely and nothing more. Contact Sokolov without being spotted by the enemy and bring him out discreetly. If you must dispose of an enemy, do it with the tranquilizer gun. Snake, as I said before, this mission is only to bring Sokolov back safely. You must not put Sokolov in danger. You're not allowed to contact him during the alert phase. Period. Drums lying on their side can be sent rolling. Time it right and you might be able to use it to bowl over multiple enemies at once. Give it a try. Stand near a drum and press the action button.
Major, I'm in front of Sokolov's cell, but the door won't open.
Hold on, Snake. What's the current condition?
Condition?
Yeah, what phase is it now?
Alert.
Exactly. I already said you can't contact Sokolov during battle. Don't you listen to people when they're talking? Well, anyway, the reason that door won't open is probably because Sokolov is blocking it himself. He's scared, and no wonder. In order to break Sokolov out of there, you'll need his cooperation as well. So stop scaring him. Contact Sokolov later after you've disengaged the enemy. Once things have stabilized, try it again. Got it? Get Sokolov out of there safely. He must not be turned over to the KGB or to the GRU. Sokolov took off in the direction of the rope bridge. Get after him. Hurry! Snake, those drums are filled with fuel. That'll prove to be useful.
What do you mean?
Think about it. Shoot a bullet at a drum full of flammable fuel and,
Gotcha.
if you blow up those drums full of fuel, the explosion should take care of any enemies in a fairly wide radius. Just make sure you don't get caught up in the blast yourself. Snake, hurry and get those injuries treated.
Snake, what are you doing? Hurry up and treat those wounds. Ready to save, Snake? Snake, come back in one piece, okay? I'll be waiting.
Don't worry.
Saving the game? Don't die on me, Snake.
Not a chance.
Do you need to save? Should I save for you?
Snake, you're not done treating your injuries. Go into the survival viewer and treat the rest of your injuries.
Snake, you're not done treating yourself. Go back into the survival viewer and treat the rest of your wounds.
Snake, your first task is to meet up with Adam, the contact provided by the KGB. The rendezvous point is the abandoned factory to the north of your current position. Head north.
The abandoned factory. That's where I met Sokolov during the Virtuous mission.
Correct, but we can't afford to have the same thing happen this time.
I know.
Like the Virtuous mission, Operation Snake Eater is a solo sneaking mission. There are no units in the field to back you up. Avoid engaging the enemy whenever possible. Your first priority is to remain unseen. Use the camouflage option in the survival viewer and choose your camouflage wisely. Proceed with caution. Unlike the Virtuous mission, this is a night operation. You'll get lost more easily in the dark, but it'll also make your camouflage more effective and make it harder for the enemy to see you. On the other hand, it will also be more difficult for you to see them. You'll also find that different animals are active. Some of these nocturnal animals are poisonous, so stay alert. Paramedic is with us again to provide information on the local plants and animals. Give her a call if there's anything you need to know. Operation Snake Eater is different from the Virtuous mission in that you won't be able to complete it in just a few hours. The time limit set by Khrushchev is 1 week. Within that time, you'll have to rescue Sokolov, defeat Volgin, destroy the Shagohod, and...
I know.
Good. In any event, you'll not be allowed to return until you've accomplished your objectives. Survival in the field will be critical in this mission, and the most important survival technique of all is, of course, finding food. You can get food in the same way you did during the Virtuous mission, by capturing it. The enemy presence in that area is still light. You should try and get as much food as possible while you can. Snake, let's go over the controls for CQC one more time. Press the CQC button once to throw a punch. Press it repeatedly to launch a combo attack. CQC doesn't really start to shine, however, until you grab an enemy. Press and hold the CQC button to extend your right hand and grab the enemy. Move the left stick at the same time and you can knock the enemy to the ground. If you don't move the left stick, you can get behind the enemy and hold him prisoner. When you're holding an enemy from behind, he'll be almost completely helpless. From there are a number of things you can do. By pressing the CQC button again firmly, you can slit his throat using your knife. By moving the left stick along with the CQC button, you can knock him to the ground. You can also choke the enemy by tapping the CQC button rapidly. You can either render him unconscious or kill him outright. It's up to you. If you keep the CQC button pressed, you can use the left stick to move around with the enemy in your grip. You can also press the weapon button to use the weapon you have equipped. The enemy will be hesitant to attack as long as you're using one of their comrades as a human shield. Use that moment of hesitation to attack in first-person view. By pressing in and holding the left stick, you can interrogate the enemy. You might be surprised at the things you can learn. But stay alert. While the enemy is nearly helpless in your grasp, if you give him a chance, he'll turn the tables on you. You can only grab an enemy using CQC when you're using a weapon that will allow you to reach out with your right hand, such as the survival knife, a handgun, or your bare hands. You can't grab the enemy when using weapons that take both hands to use, such as assault rifles. or that prevent you from controlling the enemy with your right hand, like hand grenades. In short, you can't use CQC when equipped with assault rifles or hand grenades. You can tell whether a weapon is compatible with CQC or not by looking at its icon. Snake, this is a solo sneaking operation. There are no medics there to assist you. You'll have to treat your own injuries. Are we clear?
I had a little bit of training, but I'm no doctor.
That's where I come in. To treat an injury, first press the start button to open the survival viewer, then select cure to start the treatment. Healing is divided into treatment using medicine with the item window button and surgical treatment using the weapon window button. Treatment with medicine involves administering oral remedies and serum injections. You'll use this treatment method when you have food poisoning or when you've been bitten by a venomous animal. Surgical treatment involves applying surgical techniques to injured areas. You'll use this method to take care of burns and gunshot wounds. As long as you do everything you're supposed to, your injury should heal completely. Be sure to follow the proper procedures.
Snake, the food you catch will gradually spoil over time.
Some types of food spoil faster than others. Animal and fish meat goes bad relatively fast, but plants and mushrooms generally last a little longer. Animals won't go bad if you capture them alive, though. You can tell whether food has gone bad or not by looking closely at the icon on the food screen in the survival viewer. So be sure to check the icon before you eat the food. If you eat spoiled food, you'll get sick and end up with a stomachache. It'll get better eventually if you leave it alone, but that means you'll throw up and lose a lot of stamina. If you get a stomachache, go to Cure in the survival viewer and take some digestive medicine. Digestive medicine and antidotes aren't the only ways to cure stomach aches and food poisoning. You can also induce vomiting. Go into the survival viewer and press the viewer button to enter viewer mode. Then rotate the right stick to spin your body around, and eventually you'll start feeling queasy. When you get dizzy enough, exit the survival viewer and you'll throw up. That should get rid of any stomach ache and food poisoning you have. Give it a try. You should be able to find ezocomfrey in that area. Ezocomfrey is a plant in the comfrey family that's found only in Selenoyarsk. If you find one, you can use it as a cast to treat broken bones.
How can a plant be turned into a splint?
The roots of the ezocomfrey are extremely sticky. You can use them as a kind of plaster cast to fasten the affected area in place.
I get it.
There's an herb called the amur kudzu growing in that area. Amur kudzu is a member of the bean family and a close relative of the kudzu weed. The roots contain a number of isoflavones such as daidzein, which give it strong fever-reducing properties. It'll make a good cold medicine if you find some.
Yo! You're Snake, aren't you?
And you're Sigint?
None other.
I heard that you're an expert on weapons, equipment, and cutting-edge technology.
Close.
Huh?
I am the expert on weapons, equipment, and cutting-edge technology.
Ah.
I'm the guy that designed your trank gun, active sonar, and motion detector. If you want to know anything about weapons or equipment you find in the field, just send me a message and ask. Later. Keep in mind that every weapon and piece of equipment weighs something. The heavier the equipment you're lugging around, the faster you'll burn up stamina. You can see how much your equipment weighs by going into the backpack screen in the survival viewer. If you're trying to conserve your stamina, make some cuts and toss the equipment you don't need in your backpack. Covering your body is a good start, but a bare face will kill even the best camouflage. If the situation calls for a high camo index, you better break out the face paint. To apply face paint, select face from the camouflage menu in the survival viewer. Then choose a face paint that blends in with your surroundings. The camo index, located in the top right corner of the screen, tells you if your outfit is getting the job done. The higher the value of this index, the harder it is for the enemy to spot you. Try your best to keep the camo index as high as possible. You're on a solo sneaking mission. Your success is based on your ability to survive. That's where the survival viewer comes in. The survival viewer contains everything you need to survive out in the field. Use camouflage to change your camouflage and backpack to select your gear. Use food to eat, cure to treat wounds, and map to view a detail of the area. You've also got options. That lets you change the settings to suit your mission preferences. Got it? Whenever you find a new weapon or piece of equipment, the first thing you do is drop it in your backpack, right? But you can't use your new goodies if they're just sitting in your backpack. To use a weapon or piece of equipment, first you have to take it out of your backpack and place it on your person. To take an item out of your backpack, use the backpack option in the survival viewer. To place a weapon on your person, select Weapon under the Backpack section of the survival viewer. See that window on the left? That shows a list of all the weapons you've got. Choose the weapon you want to carry from the list and press the Enter button to take it out of your backpack. Just remember that there's a limit to the number of weapons you can carry at the same time, so put back any stuff you don't need. To put a weapon on your person back into your backpack, choose a weapon that's already on you from the weapon list and press the Enter button. Or you can just line up the icon for the weapon you want to put away with the lower right and press the Enter button. Do whatever works best. Pattern clothing, face paint, tactical movements. These are the elements of camouflage that will allow you to deceive your enemy. To camouflage yourself, first press the Start button to check out the survival viewer. Then select Camouflage and you'll see two more options, Face and Uniform. Choose Face to apply face paint and Uniform to change your field uniform. Simple, really. Make sure and choose something that'll match your surroundings. When you fire continuously with a gun like the assault rifle, the recoil will cause your shots to veer off target. But if you crouch or lie down, you can suppress the recoil and keep a tight fire pattern. So when you gotta hit that bullseye, take a low position.
Snake, unlike the Virtuous mission, this is a night operation. You'll be encountering nocturnal animals that you didn't encounter your last mission. Some of them are venomous, like the king cobra, so be careful. If you get bitten by a venomous animal, the poison will spread through your body and rapidly drain your life gauge. If that's the case, go into the cure screen in Survival Viewer immediately and inject yourself with serum. Got it? Treating serious wounds will require you to use additional medical items besides your knife and cigar. That's why it's always a good idea to carry as many medical items with you as possible. If you start to run out of medical items, find some more as soon as you can. The enemy should be carrying medical supplies as well. You can get them by holding up enemy soldiers and shaking down their bodies. Snake, be careful when you approach the enemy. The closer you are to them, the more accurate their shots will be, and the more damage their weapons will do. That means you've got a greater chance of getting seriously wounded. Daring frontal assaults are not a good idea, but if you do get seriously injured, go into the survival viewer and treat it immediately. When you're bitten by a venomous animal such as a snake or a spider, or hit by a poisoned arrow, the poison will start to affect your body. Your life will decrease with each passing minute, so cure the poison as soon as possible. To cure poison, go into Cure in the survival viewer and inject yourself with a dose of serum. You can get serum from enemies. Either hold them up or shake their bodies down after you defeat them. I'm pretty sure you can also get serum by capturing the rabbits that live in that area.
You just heard a horse?
Yeah,
You sure it wasn't something else?
I know a horse when I hear one.
Paramedic, are there any wild horses in Selino-Yask?
Do you really expect me to say yes?
No.
So what should I do?
There's only one way through that area. All you can do is move forward. Head towards the sound of that horse. It came from the north. Be careful.
Major.
Snake, the boss is your enemy. You've got to accept that reality. Adam is waiting for you at the abandoned factory to the north of your current position. Head north. The enemy must have seen the drone explode. They've probably already sent out patrol units. You never know when you'll encounter the enemy. Use your camouflage wisely and proceed with caution.
Major, why was the boss there? Did they detect my infiltration?
That's impossible. The drone shouldn't have been picked up by their radar at all.
Then how did she know? It couldn't have been a...
That's also out of the question. We've taken all measures to ensure this mission stays secret.
Then what's going on?
I don't know. It won't do you any good to dwell on it, Snake. Hurry to your rendezvous with Adam. Head for the abandoned factory to the north. Watch out for enemy patrols. Stay alert at all times, okay? Hurry to your rendezvous with Adam. Head for the abandoned factory to the north. Watch out for enemy patrols. Stay alert at all times, okay? A rope bridge, huh? You'll stick out like a sore thumb if you walk on top of it. To cross it without being seen, you'll have to do something about the enemies.
So you've got your uniform and your face paint, but that alone isn't enough to make for good camouflage. Camouflage means blending in with nature. To make your disguise complete, you've got to keep a low profile and avoid overt movements. As long as you've got the uniform and face paint working for you, and you're lying flat keeping still, you won't have to worry about being spotted from a distance. On the flip side, dancing around your enemy in perfect camo is still a dead giveaway. So if the enemy's looking for you and he's getting too close for comfort, just lay low for the time being.
You've arrived at the factory, I see.
Yeah, now to meet up with this Adam guy.
Good. Go to it.
So where is he?
We weren't given an exact location.
How about a time?
Nothing was specified.
A physical description?
I'm not sure.
How am I supposed to find him then?
You won't need to.
Huh?
He'll find you. Why don't you try the room to the northeast where you met Sokolov? Adam might be in there. Adam is a spy sent by the KGB to infiltrate Volgin's ranks. You'll need to be extremely careful in how you approach him.
Obviously. He can't let Volgin know he's meeting me.
That's right. Adam won't show up if you're being pursued by the enemy. Before you go to rendezvous with Adam, make sure you haven't been seen by the enemy. Meet up with him in normal phase. Got it? Snake, do you see the door there?
Yeah, it's a swinging door.
Opening a swinging door is a bit different from opening the doors that you got used to during training. To open doors, generally you can just use the left stick to move towards the door. This way you use your body to push the door open. To open a door without creating any noise, move the left stick slightly. So, when you're concerned about alerting enemies on the inside of a room of your presence, open the door slowly and slip right in. If you use large motions of the left stick and run towards a door, you'll burst through it. The sound of the door opening will surely be heard by your enemies, but it allows for a fast entrance. When you want to jump right in and take care of business, running is the way to do it. Stand in front of a door in first-person view and use the left and right step buttons against the door. This will gradually open the door and allow you to glimpse inside. Use this technique when you want to check what's happening on the other side. It appears you've been completely surrounded.
Yeah, so I gathered.
If Eva is to escape from there...
Right. I'll have to take them all out.
Snake, you must defeat all the ocelots. That's the only way to ensure Eva's safe escape, as well as your own. But you're up against a lot of them. Don't try to take them head on. Approach them without being seen and dispatch them one by one. And don't forget to use your camouflage. Snake, they're conducting a sweep of the inside of the factory. Sooner or later, they'll come to your room. If you're just standing there doing nothing, they'll find you and they will kill you. Get out of that room quickly. Use the trapdoor that Eva showed you. You might be able to wait it out by hiding in a locker as well. Snake, don't try to engage the ocelots head-on. There are too many of them. If they surround you, you'll be finished. Use your camouflage to approach them without being seen, and take them out one by one. If you don't camouflage yourself properly, you run the risk of being spotted and attacked by snipers or other faraway enemies. Don't forget to use the camouflage screen in the survival viewer to disguise yourself. Always maintain a high camo index. Snake, enemy soldiers who move in file pose a serious threat. Try to take them out one at a time, starting with the one at the back. Snake, there were drums filled with fuel in the factory. If you shoot a bullet into one of those drums, the resulting explosion should send any nearby enemies flying. Use them to your advantage. Snake, there's no telling where the enemy might be hiding. Be sure to check the ceilings and the bushes. Don't let your guard down even for an instant. Eva needs you to distract the enemies until she can escape on her motorcycle. She's probably out there somewhere waiting for her chance. Don't worry about her. Focus on defeating the enemy. Understood? Snake, it appears they've got snipers in place. Snipers are excellent shots. If they hit you, you're likely to be wounded. Find the snipers and neutralize them before they can shoot you. If you do get shot at, take cover behind something. Understood?
When you have a serious injury, like a gunshot wound or a burn, your maximum life will decrease. So if you're seriously hurt, go into the survival viewer immediately and use cure to treat it. Snake, you run a higher risk of getting seriously injured if you're hit by an attack at close range. If you're engaging in proximity combat, use caution. If you get seriously injured, go into the survival viewer and treat it right away. Snake, keep an eye on your stamina gauge. When you run low on stamina, you won't be able to fight at full strength. You'll recover less life and your aim won't be as steady. Don't let that happen to you. Use the food option in the survival viewer to eat some food and replenish your stamina. Snake, your life will naturally recover even if you're wounded. But how fast it recovers depends on how much stamina you have. If your stamina is low, your life will recover more slowly. If you want your wounds to heal, you should eat something first and replenish your stamina. You can make your life recover faster by staying in a crouching or lying position. If you get injured, find some place where you're safe from enemy attacks and let your life recover, okay?
Those rifles the Ocelots are using aren't AK-47s, are they?
No. They kind of look like AKMs, but they're different.
Different how?
They've got steel handguards and vertical type foregrips, and the muzzle suppressor is bigger.
A carbine version of the AKM, huh? Hungary has a unique modified version of the AKM called the AMD-63. I heard something before about them making a prototype carbine version of that. My guess is they probably imported some of those prototypes. If they're using a carbine version of the AMD-63 like I'm thinking, then they could be a serious threat. Those things handle better than the AK-47s, especially at close range. And don't forget, the Ocelots are elites. They're gonna be better shots than normal Spetsnaz, and you're that much more likely to get seriously hurt. Keep your eyes open. Heads up, Snake. Looks like some of those guys are equipped with M63s. The M63 is an American-made light machine gun. It's got more firepower than you might think. It can punch through a wall too, so watch out. You said some of them are using shotguns? Those shotguns are M37s. They're an American model designed for field combat. Not all that dangerous from a distance, but at close range, they'll tear you to shreds. Be careful. Looks like some of them are using Scorpions. The Scorpion is a Czechoslovakian submachine gun. They don't have the stopping power of a rifle, but they're easier to handle and lethal at a medium range. If you eat more than a couple of rounds, it's not gonna be pretty. Don't fool around. Snake, watch out for those grenades they're tossing. You'll be injured pretty bad if you get caught in the blast. You could get burned too. If somebody throws a grenade at you, get away from it and hit the deck. Snake, if you fire that thing without a suppressor attached, the bang and the muzzle flash will give your position away to the enemy. Attach a suppressor and you won't have to worry about all that. To attach a suppressor, open the weapon window and press the circle button. Snake, they're using stun grenades. Watch out!
Stun grenades?
Yeah, it's a new weapon they invented themselves. It uses an intense blast of light and sound to knock out the enemy temporarily. If you're looking at the light from one of those things when it goes off, you can kiss your optics goodbye. If one gets tossed your way, turn around quick.
Snake, it's too early to relax yet. There are still enemies out there somewhere. Find them and eliminate them. It looks like you've got rid of all the Ocelots.
Yeah.
Now proceed with the rescue of Sokolov. According to Eva, you should start by going to the crevice to the north and...
Can we trust her?
What's that?
Eva is with the KGB, isn't she? Can I really believe what she says? How do I know she won't double-cross me?
There are no guarantees in espionage, Snake, only calculated guesses. At this point in time, the KGB stands nothing to gain by stabbing us in the back.
So you're saying I can trust her?
I'm saying the chance that she'll betray you is low.
Ah.
Of course, we checked the route she gave you against our own data. It looks like a pretty solid infiltration route. It makes good use of weak spots in the enemy's defenses. You shouldn't have any problems. Follow the route Eva showed you and proceed with the mission.
Roger.
First, enter the cave through the crevice. Eva said it was to the north, so head that way. Snake, your number one priority in this mission is rescuing Sokolov. Eva said he is in the lab, so head over there.
Right.
Do you remember how to get to the lab?
You mean what Eva told me?
Yes.
Of course I do.
All right, repeat it for me.
Major, do you think I'd forget something like that?
Let's hear it then.
First I head north.
Hmm?
And then I'll come to a crevice.
And then?
And then...
All right, let's go over this one more time. First, head north through the jungle. Enter the cave through the crevice to the north. Follow the cave to the end and you'll come out in an aqueduct surrounded by mangrove. Follow the aqueduct to the north and you should arrive at a warehouse. Climb out of the water and enter the warehouse. After you've infiltrated the warehouse, pass through it to the north. Then you'll emerge in the woods again. The lab will be directly to the north. Are we clear now?
Yeah.
Snake.
I got it. Basically, I just head north, right?
Ugh. Thermal goggles create a thermal image based on the heat emitted by objects in view. With the thermal goggles equipped, you'll be able to quickly spot enemies hidden deep within the jungle. Also, you can locate plants, animals, and traps. Use it to your advantage. However, once you activate the thermal goggles, you begin draining battery energy. And remember, once you're out of battery juice, you won't be able to use your other electronic devices.
Your field uniform is not just a set of threads to wear. To get the max effect out of your camouflage, you gotta correspond with your environment. So no matter where you are, make sure to choose a camo pattern that lets you blend in.
That swamp seems pretty deep. It's probably deep enough to dive underwater and swim around. Press the crawl button when you're swimming on the surface to dive underwater. The controls when you're underwater are quite different from when you're on land. The left stick controls the direction you're facing. Press up, down, left or right to turn in that direction. Press the CQC button or the crawl button to move forward. Each button press will move you one stroke forward. Press the button repeatedly to swim faster. You can also press the action button to surface in an emergency. While you're swimming, you can use the right stick to look in a different direction without changing the direction you're going. Snake, you'll be helpless if a crocodile attacks you in the water. You can't see behind you when you're swimming. So if you're in a crocodile-infested swamp, keep an eye on your six. Also, by using your sensors, you should be able to detect crocodiles before they get too close. Snake, I see you're in the water. Unlike what you've experienced in training, you'll be able to fire handguns and assault rifles underwater. Keep that in mind.
Snake, be careful. I might not have told you this yet, but that swamp is rigged with traps.
Tell me about it.
So you know already.
Yeah.
Well, then you're all set. The traps in that area are set to go off when a rope stretched along the ground is disturbed. Keep a close eye on the ground and make sure you don't trip over a rope. I mean, far be it from me to call you an idiot who can't avoid even the simplest of traps, but you know... What's the matter?
Nothing. Never mind.
The crevice that leads to the cave is still a ways to the north. Keep heading that way.
Snake, what in God's name?
How does it look?
Oh, never mind. I suppose you might be able to disguise yourself as a crocodile by wearing that cap and sticking your head out of the water.
Snake, the barbed wire in that area has a high-voltage electric current running through it. You'll get electrocuted if you touch that barbed wire, so don't.
Electrify barbed wire, huh? Looks like I'll have to find another way around.
That won't be necessary.
It won't.
Nope. Electrified barbed wire is a formidable barrier, but it's a pain in the neck to maintain. Apparently, it's always breaking down because wild animals keep running into it, but the word is they don't have enough personnel to fix it. If you look closely at the bottom of the barbed wire, you should be able to spot a hole somewhere. Try crawling your way through there.
That area is reportedly planted with claymore mines. Claymores pack quite a punch. Don't risk heavy injury. Be careful. Claymores are not completely buried in the ground. If you look closely enough, you can tell where they've been hidden. You can also pick up claymore mines by crawling over them. It'll be useful if you recover a few of the enemy's traps.
Snake, sorry if I forgot to tell you, but they've got attack dogs prowling that area. If they find you, you'll be in for a rough time. Attack dogs are trained for fighting, and you won't be able to shake them off so easily. If they bark at you, it'll alert nearby patrols to your presence. Be careful not to get spotted by those dogs.
Snake, it looks like they've got attack dogs in that area. Attack dogs generally receive extensive military training in tracking and combat techniques. They're formidable close-range fighters and difficult to elude. Their barking can alert enemy patrols to your presence as well. Take care not to let attack dogs catch sight of you. Attack dogs may be dangerous, but they can't climb trees. If you've been cornered by attack dogs, try climbing a tree.
Snake, that area is rigged with clappers.
Clappers?
That's right. Didn't I tell you already?
No.
Oh, it must have slipped my mind. Clappers are a type of alarm system. It's set up so that when a rope stretched along the ground is disturbed, it makes a noise. When a clapper goes off, the enemy will go into alert phase, and any nearby patrols will come and start sweeping the area. Keep a close eye on the ground, and try not to trip any ropes.
Good, you've reached the relay station, but stay alert. That station is an enemy strongpoint. The security is bound to be tight.
But there's no other way to get to the crevice if I don't make it through.
Exactly. The crevice leading to the cave is in the north of that area. Find a way to slip past the enemy and head north.
Snake, there's a provision storehouse in the center of that area and an armory to the northeast. By destroying them, you should be able to cut off supplies to the enemy in that area. I heard they've got AKs stored in the armory. You might want to check it out.
There's a gun emplacement installed over there. A gun emplacement is a grave threat in the enemy's hands, but a valuable weapon if you can occupy it. Stand next to a gun emplacement and press the action button to operate it. Press the weapon button to fire. You can use the aim button to zoom in on a target. Be aware, though, that the gun's ammo supply is limited. To move away from a gun emplacement, press the action button once again.
Eva. There's an attack helicopter docked at the heliport.
Oh, it's an attack chopper currently being developed at Grozny Grad. They're using it as a patrol craft while they conduct tests. Didn't I tell you?
No.
The helicopter docked there is probably in for maintenance right now, so you won't have to worry about it taking off. If you're thinking of destroying it, now's your chance.
Sounds like a plan. But how?
Huh?
There's no way I'm going to punch through that armor with an assault rifle. Isn't there a weapon somewhere that can do some real damage?
You'll just have to figure that out yourself.
But the suppressor will deteriorate each time the gun is fired. The durability of your suppressor is displayed on the weapon icon whenever the suppressor is equipped. Be sure to keep an eye on it.
Snake, the only way to proceed is to fight. You have to defeat Ocelot. You can't jump over that crevice, and hand-to-hand combat is out of the question. You'll have to shoot it out with him. Take cover behind something and wait for an opening. Then attack him in first-person view. Ocelot is using a revolver. Revolvers take a long time to reload when they run out of bullets. When he stops to reload, that's your chance to attack. Snake, you won't survive a fall into that crevice. Make sure you don't fall into it while rolling by mistake. Even if Ocelot hides in a blind spot, you can still shoot him from up in the trees. If he hides from you, climb a tree and attack him from there.
There's a hornet's nest over by Ocelot, too. If it drops on him, it might just create an opening. Try shooting it down.
That guy is using a single-action army. It's a 6-shot 45 caliber revolver. The only drawback is that because it's a revolver, it's a pain in the ass to reload. Ocelot will be open to attack while he's reloading. Use that window to unload on him. Ocelot has 2 single-action army revolvers. That gives him 12 bullets in all. Keep a close eye on his remaining rounds. When he stops to reload, open fire.
Ocelot is a force to be reckoned with. Don't even think about running away. The only way to proceed with the mission is to defeat him. They say that Ocelot can hit targets hiding behind obstacles by using ricochet shots. Rocks and trees won't protect you. If you stay too long in the same spot, you'll only be making yourself an easy target. Don't stand still. Keep moving. I'm not sure why, but Ocelot seems to have a thing for his cap. You might be able to get him to let down his guard by shooting it off his head. All the exits are being blocked by members of the Ocelot unit. They're fiercely loyal to Ocelot. Even if Ocelot ordered them not to get involved, they might just step in to back him up if he gets in trouble. If you get attacked by one of the Ocelots, use a grenade or something to fight back.
Ocelot can use ricochet shots to attack? Then you won't be safe anywhere, not even behind an obstacle. Don't stay in one spot for too long or you'll make yourself an easy target. Stay alert.
Ocelot's pistol uses really powerful bullets, and he's a crack shot too. So if he hits you, you'll probably be severely wounded. If you get seriously wounded, go into the survival viewer right away and treat it with cure. Got it?
I think what Ocelot really wants is a showdown with you. As long as you keep your gun holstered, he'll probably do the same. This will be a quick draw contest. You'd better have sharp reflexes. Watch Ocelot in first-person view. When you see an opening, quickly draw your gun and shoot him.
Paramedic.
What's wrong? Are you hurt?
No.
Then what?
These hornets won't go away.
The hornets?
Yeah, they've been flying around over my head in a figure-8 pattern and won't go away. Any idea why?
Well, hornets use the figure-8 dance to signal that they found food.
Food?
Yeah, like flowers or nectar.
What does it mean?
I don't know, but at least they're not attacking you, right? I think it's best to just leave them alone. You've got bigger things to worry about, like Ocelot.
Good point.
You can beat him, Snake.
Who said I couldn't?
Snake, are you okay? Snake!
Major.
Snake.
Are you all right? You're not hurt?
No, that was a hell of a drop, but I'm fine. Looks like there's no way back up, though.
I see. Well, anyway, it's good to hear you're not injured. Slipping and falling may not have been part of the plan, but getting into that cave was. Proceed further into the cave. The cave seems to be structured like a maze, but there's an exit somewhere. Find a way out of the cave and head for the aqueduct.
All right, but it might take me a while to get through this cave.
Are you hurt?
No,
Is it the enemy? Did they set a trap for you?
not that either.
Then what is it?
It's dark in here.
Dark.
Yeah, there's no light anywhere. I should have brought a flashlight with me.
So what you're saying is that it's going to take you a while because you don't have a flashlight.
Right.
Snake, if you don't have a flashlight, you should be looking for a substitute. I tell you, American soldiers these days rely too much on ready-made equipment.
Here we go again.
What was that?
Nothing.
American soldiers rely too much on ready-made equipment. And not only that, they can't seem to grasp that one piece of equipment can have multiple functions. Back when I was in the SAS, we never had that problem. We were trained to use every piece of equipment in as many ways as possible. If you don't have a flashlight, look for something else. You need to develop flexible, innovative thinking if you want to... Hey, are you listening to me?
Yeah, of course I am.
First, take a look at what you're carrying with you now. Don't you have anything that can provide you with some light?
Snake, are you all right?
Yeah, just barely. What the hell were all those hornets?
Most likely that was the pain, one of the cobras.
I figured as much. Are they tracking me?
I don't know. The cobras only take orders from the boss. Not even Volgin knows what they're really up to, so I don't know anything about them either.
No kidding.
I'll try and dig up as much as I can about them. You just focus on moving ahead. Go to the end of the cave and you'll come out in an aqueduct overgrown with mangroves. This leads to the Ponyzovier swamp. And Snake, be careful. That cave...
Is pitch dark inside.
Good. I did remember to tell you then. If it's completely dark and you need a light, try using a torch. I heard there's some emergency torches stored somewhere in that cave.
Torches. Got it. So where are they?
Huh?
Where are the torches?
How should I know? Go find them yourself.
Snake, those hornets that attacked you while you were fighting Ocelot...
I know. They look familiar, like the ones I saw during the Virtuous mission.
So it was one of the cobras.
That's what Ocelot was saying, too.
Keep your guard up.
I will.
I know you have your cigars. You should at least be able to see the ground in front of you if you use a cigar. Try lighting one up.
That reminds me. I've heard they keep a shotgun stored in that part of the cave. Why don't you go look for it?
Snake, as long as the Pain is using his hornets to protect his body, you won't be able to damage him with gun attacks. You'll need to use a grenade to get rid of the hornet swarm first. Go into first-person view and throw a grenade at him. The shotgun should work as well. Get rid of those hornets protecting him, and then attack him with a gun. The Pain seems to be directing swarms of hornets to attack you.
Be careful. If you're attacked by a swarm of hornets, your life will steadily decrease. When the hornets come to attack you, you can cause the swarm to scatter by shooting at it with your gun. Also, the hornets can't follow you into the water, so you can get away by diving into the water. Hornets are also vulnerable to fire and smoke. You can keep them away from you by using a smoke grenade. Swinging a torch around using the CQC button should also work.
Snake, watch out for those bullet bees he shoots.
Bullet bees are the name the Pain gives the special hornets he raises inside his own body. And if they get into your body, your wounds will become worse and worse until you get rid of them. If you're afflicted by bullet bees, go into the survival viewer immediately and use Cure to dig them out with your knife. Once the bullet bees are out, don't forget to apply styptic and disinfectant to the wound.
Snake, if the Pain's hornets stick to you, you won't be able to move freely. If hornets start to stick to you, take care of them before they prevent you from moving altogether. Either jump into the water or wave your survival knife around to drive them away. If you become unable to move, wiggle the left stick and press the buttons rapidly to shake them off before you get shot. Understood? Snake, not even the Pain's special hornets can pursue you into the water, and the grenades he throws will only be half as deadly underwater. If you sense danger, escape by diving into the water. To dive underwater, press the crawl button while you're swimming on the surface. To move forward underwater, press either the CQC button or the crawl button. Use the left stick to control your direction. In a pinch, you can press the action button to quickly rise to the surface. Also, handguns and rifles can be fired underwater. You can use these to attack targets above the surface as well. The Pain can utilize the hornets under his control to seek out his enemies. Being spotted by the hornets is the same as being spotted by him. Keep an eye out for hornets above you when you emerge from underwater.
Snake, you won't be able to see a thing with a swarm of hornets covering your head. The hornets can't follow you into the water. If you find your vision being blocked by a swarm of hornets, dive into the water. You could also try driving them away with the smoke from your cigar. Waving your torch around with the CQC button should also work. You might be able to trap some of the hornets by throwing a hornet's nest at them. If you succeed, it should reduce the number of hornets the Pain has at his disposal. It might even make the nest taste better. Try it out. Hornets are known to display extremely aggressive behavior in response to the color black. So don't wear black clothing. Instead, try wearing white clothing. It should reduce the severity of the hornet's attacks. Using insecticidal bug juice on yourself should make the hornet's attacks less severe. Try it out.
The Pain is said to possess the power to control his hornets at will. Watch out for insect-based attacks, especially his so-called bullet bees. The Pain doesn't just use hornets, he's got guns and grenades in his arsenal too. Be especially careful about those grenades. Snake, watch out for those bullet bees. Bullet bee is the pet name the Pain gave to a special type of hornet that he keeps inside his body. When the Pain gives the order, they fly at their target like bullets, burrow into his body, and eat away at his insides until he's dead. If you get hit by a bullet bee, go into the survival viewer right away and heal yourself on the cure screen. That being said, despite the name, a bullet bee is really just a type of hornet. They can't follow you into the water. If the Pain launches any at you, dive under the water. The Pain can supposedly use his hornets to create a copy of himself and confuse the enemy. If he does that, try and figure out which one is real and attack it. When he copies himself, the hornets that normally protect him will be used to create the double. That means you'll be able to damage him with a gun. But be warned, if you screw up and shoot the double, or you take too long to shoot, you'll get hit with a counterattack.
The Pain has the power to control swarms of hornets at will. Watch out for his hornet-based attacks. Not even the Pain's special breed of hornets will be able to follow you underwater. You're a good swimmer, right? If you're being harassed by any hornets, dive into the water.
Snake, you've got alarm pheromones all over your clothes.
When the Pain hits you with alarm pheromones, the hornet's attacks will become more aggressive. They'll assault you more often, so be careful. If you get covered in the alarm pheromones, you should go into the survival viewer and change your clothes immediately.
The exit from the cave should be toward the back. Proceed through the cave and find the exit to the swamp aqueduct.
Snake, you beat the Pain.
Not without a tough fight.
How did it feel to fight one of the boss's comrades?
What are you getting at?
I just want to know what it's like to have fought a member of the legendary Cobra unit. That's all.
What you want to know is if I can really face the boss. Is that right?
Well, that too.
Don't waste your time worrying about me. I'll get the mission done.
I certainly hope so.
So the exit of the cave is up ahead.
Right. Go to the end of the cave and you'll come out in an aqueduct overgrown with mangroves. This leads to the Ponizovye swamp. I heard a report that they've transported a sniper rifle to the western part of Ponizovye, the aqueduct at the other end of the cave. When you get to the aqueduct, you might want to head over that way and check it out.
Snake, bullet bees are digging into your body.
Pass through that area to the north and you'll reach the aqueduct. But be careful. The aqueduct is patrolled by flying platforms.
Flying platforms?
Soldiers hovering in the air.
I've heard stories, but...
They've already been implemented over here. It goes to show that America isn't #1 in everything.
I see you found your way to the aqueduct. If you follow it to the north, you'll come to a warehouse used for transporting supplies. Pass through the warehouse, and you'll come out into a forest. The lab where Sokolov is being held is directly to the north of that forest, so head north. Snake, Eva mentioned something about a sniper rifle in the western part of Ponizovye. A sniper rifle would certainly be a valuable asset to your mission. Swing by the western area and acquire that sniper rifle. Snake, the water in that aqueduct comes up to your waist. Naturally, you won't be able to walk as fast as usual. But you can jump into the water with a roll, or press the crawl button to go underwater and swim your way through. Unlike what you've experienced in training, you'll be able to fire handguns and assault rifles underwater. Keep that in mind. Eva mentioned that that area was guarded by flying platforms. Be careful, they can see a great distance from up there. If a flying platform starts to draw near, you would do well to dive underwater and hide until it passes.
The armor plating on the body of a flying platform is bound to be pretty thick. I don't think you're going to be able to penetrate it with a handgun or an assault rifle. When you're up against a flying platform, try and aim for either the pilot or the engine on the underbelly. The flying platforms have a searchlight attached to the front. If you knock it out, that should handicap its scouting ability. And in some cases, it might even have to go back to base for repairs.
Snake, the enemies in that area will use flares against you. When you're near the light from a flare, your camo index will go down. If the enemy fires a flare at you, you'd best dive underwater and hide. Stand near a fallen enemy and press the weapon button with no weapon equipped to grab the body. Hold the weapon button and move to drag the body. Release the weapon button to put the body down.
Major, Sokolov's been hauled off.
Yes, they probably caught him trying to escape from the lab. Didn't Volgin say that they still needed to perform the final test?
Yeah.
Then Sokolov must have been taken back to the lab. Get to the lab and get Sokolov the hell out of there. Pass through that warehouse and you'll come out south of the lab. Make your way inside the warehouse. Watch out for enemy sentries. The assault rifle can punch through materials like wooden boards. That means you can fire on enemies standing on top of the pier from underneath. Keep that in mind. Good. You've infiltrated the warehouse. Pass through it and you'll come out south of the lab where Sokolov is being held. The exit should be on the north side of the top floor. Climb up the stairs and pass through the warehouse to the north. It'll be difficult to keep a low profile inside a building, even if you're wearing camouflage. Keep a constant watch on your surroundings. Stay alert and don't enter the enemy's line of sight. You may be able to fool the enemy by disguising yourself as an object commonly found inside buildings.
Looks like you're in a building. If people are living there, there's bound to be people food.
People food.
Soviet military rations. It beats eating raw snakes and mushrooms all the time, doesn't it?
I'm getting to like raw snake and mushroom.
You really are turning into an animal.
Major, this door.
It won't open?
No.
It's probably locked.
That's what I thought, but there's no keyhole.
I bet it's locked by a punch card security system.
Punch card?
Yep. Instead of a regular key, it uses a card with holes punched in it. You're gonna have to get yourself a card key if you want to get it open.
Snake, you need a special kind of key to open that door. Right now, your top mission priority is to rescue Sokolov. Head for the lab to the north. Snake, the lab where Sokolov is being held is to the north of that forest. Keep on heading north. Snake, watch out. It seems that forest is rigged with a number of traps. Most of the traps seem to be triggered by tripping a rope stretched across the ground. Don't just run around like a fool. Keep an eye on the ground and watch where you step. Some ropes may be placed so they're hidden in the vegetation. Be Be extra careful when you're cutting through the underbrush. If you use the directional buttons to move around stalking, you should be able to spot the traps before you step on them. Use stalking to move safely through suspicious-looking areas.
There seem to be traps planted throughout that area, and they look a little primitive.
Yeah, but this is their territory. Why would they need this many traps here?
Maybe it's part of some kind of tactical research.
Tactical research?
Yeah. As I'm sure you know, the Soviet Union is leading a worldwide revolution among communist forces all over the globe. But a lot of the countries involved don't have the necessary funds and industrial technology, so they need tactics that are both effective and economical.
That's what they're researching?
Yeah, and traps are one of the best ways to do that. I'll bet that place is one of their testing grounds. Clappers, arrows, pendulums, all of these traps are set off by applying force to a rope. Don't touch the ropes and you'll be fine. Use rolling to get over them, or just crawl under them. Either way ought to work. If you do set off a trap and an arrow or a spiked pendulum comes flying your way, you can still dodge it by immediately diving out of the way. Pit traps and snares are camouflaged into the ground to make them harder to detect. But if you look carefully enough, you can see them through the disguise. Try stalking to proceed with extra caution. In any case, if you think there might be traps lying around, keep a close eye on the ground and stay alert.
Snake, have you been caught in a snare trap?
Yeah,
If you don't get down from there soon, the enemy might spot you.
I know that.
Then why don't you get yourself down?
How am I supposed to do that?
It should be obvious. If you get caught in a snare trap, press the action button. That will allow you to cut the rope. Hurry and free yourself before the enemy comes around. Sokolov is inside the lab. Look for a way in and use it to infiltrate the lab. Snake, be careful. That barbed wire is electrified and you'll get a shock if you touch it. It looks like there's no way to get over it. Look carefully at the bottom of the barbed wire. There might be a gap somewhere. If you find an opening, crawl through it flat on the ground. Snake, take a closer look at those bushes. There's a hole in the wall. I'll bet you could crawl through it to get to the other side. So there's a high wall around the perimeter of the lab. Climbing over it probably isn't an option. But there must be an entrance somewhere. Keep your eyes open. The best source of information about a facility is the people going in and out of it. Try interrogating one of the enemies about the entrance. Snake, the enemy appears to be using that door to enter and exit the lab. Think you can sneak in?
I'll give it a shot. Major, I tried to open the door, but no dice.
That door appears to be locked from the inside. You won't be able to open it from the outside. But there must be some way to use the door to sneak inside.
And what do you propose?
Well,
How about if you stand in front of the door and perform a ritual dance?
A ritual dance.
That's what they do in Japan when they find a door that won't open.
Are you serious?
Of course.
He certainly seems to know a lot about Japan.
Yeah, but this is the Soviet Union. I don't think doing a dance is gonna make the door open.
Then you think of something.
I see you've made it inside the outer wall. Sokolov is inside the lab. Look for a way in and use it to infiltrate the lab. Good. You've infiltrated the lab. The security on the inside is very tight. You'll find it difficult to look for Sokolov unless you're disguised as a scientist. Use the clothes that Eva gave you to disguise yourself as a scientist. To disguise yourself as a scientist, go into the survival viewer and select Scientist from the uniform option on the camouflage screen. Snake, enemy soldiers who operate indoors aren't equipped with radios. To communicate with command, they'll have to use the radio-equipped alarm systems located on the walls. If you're spotted by an enemy, you can avoid going into alert phase by taking him out before he can use the alarm system. I see you're disguised as a scientist. It suits you rather nicely. As long as you don't do anything suspicious, like roll or crawl, the enemy should have no reason to suspect you. Sokolov is somewhere inside that lab. Find out where he is and make contact with him. If you want to know where Sokolov is, why don't you ask one of the people around there? Snake, your disguise seems to be working, but don't forget that you're trying to pass as a scientist. Don't do anything that a scientist wouldn't do, like roll or crawl. And certainly don't go around punching people. If an enemy starts to suspect something, don't run away. Stay where you are and remain still. That should get you out of most situations. Snake, be careful of those scientists as well. If they get a good look at your face, they'll know that you're not one of the scientists assigned to the lab. take care to keep your face hidden from the scientists. Even if they figure out who you are, the scientists won't attack you. But you'll be in for it if they cry out or press one of the alarm switches on the walls. If a scientist starts to suspect something, turn your face away until the suspicion passes. If you get a chance, try interrogating a scientist. He might have some valuable information for you. Remove your disguise temporarily and use CQC to grab a scientist. Then press the left stick. Be careful, though. If you get blood on your clothes, the enemy will see through your disguise. If you do get blood on your clothes, go into the survival viewer and change into a different outfit. After a while, the blood should come out on its own. As long as you're disguised as a scientist, you won't be able to equip guns and knives. On the other hand, you might be able to equip items that don't look like weapons at first glance. Ah, you found some lockers. Lockers are a highly prized commodity among intelligence agents. Spies throughout the ages have used lockers to help them accomplish their missions.
Are you sure about that?
Of course I am. You can use lockers for any number of purposes. Hiding yourself, hiding the bodies of enemy soldiers, using the door as a shield. Use them wisely and they'll prove valuable during the mission. To hide inside a locker, first open the locker by standing in front of it and pressing the action button. Once the door's open, you can enter the locker to hide inside it. To come out of the locker, just press the action button again. To hide an enemy's body in a locker, simply drag the body in front of an open locker. You can also break the doors of lockers. If the door of a locker won't open and you're determined to get inside, try breaking into it.
Major, Sokolov's already been moved to the fortress.
But that's only what Granin told you, right? He may have been giving you false info.
No, he wasn't lying.
How can you be so sure?
Gut feeling.
Good enough for me. According to Granin, you should be able to get to the mountains through a passage located deep in the jungle beyond the warehouse.
Right. Then if I climb the mountains, there'll be an underground tunnel leading to Grozny Grad near the summit.
Start out by going back to the warehouse. Use the key you got from Granin to open the door and proceed into the jungle. You remember where the door is, don't you? It's directly north of the door you went in when you came from the aqueduct. The Fear is using something called stealth camouflage to conceal himself. But you should be able to spot him if you look closely in first-person view. Watch for rustling grass, falling leaves, anything that will betray his presence. Find him and shoot him in first-person view. The Fear's stealth camouflage apparently drains his stamina rather quickly. Once he's used up his stamina, he'll have no choice but to go looking for food. That's your chance. Throw one of your food items to set a trap for him. Plant a claymore or some TNT and lure him into it. Or lure him into one of his own traps. Giving him poisoned or rotten food may also work well. Used properly, your food can be a weapon. You can knock down the Fear's bolts with your gun or knife. If you can't dodge a bolt, go into first-person view and shoot it down. Snake, be careful. Those woods are riddled with traps. Watch your step as you go along. Look out for areas of bottomless swamp. Even if you don't trigger a trap, the Fear can still use it to attack you by setting it off himself. Be careful about standing too close to traps. On the other hand, you might be able to use his own traps against him. For example, you could place some food next to a trap and lure him over to it. Use your head.
The Fear coats his poison bullets with venom from the Brazilian wandering spider. The Brazilian wandering spider is said to have the deadliest venom of any spider in the world. It's a potent neurotoxin, so if you get hit by one of the Fear's poison bolts, go to Cure in the survival viewer and inject yourself with serum immediately before it kills you. The rabbits in that area have antibodies that protect them against the venom of the Brazilian wandering spider. They probably built up an immunity from the Fear using them to test his poison bolts. Catching one of those rabbits will give you some serum. If you run out of serum, go catch a rabbit.
Snake, the Fear is supposed to be wearing some kind of stealth camo. I don't know how it works exactly, but it seems to refract the light around it somehow to hide the person who's wearing it. This is the best camouflage I've ever seen. It's going to be tough to figure out where he is, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have a weak point. Apparently, wearing stealth camo really drains your stamina. When he's out of stamina, the camo will stop working. Don't miss your opportunity. Just because he's wearing stealth camo doesn't mean he's not there. You can still figure out his location by using your sensors. Make use of your motion detector and active sonar. The thermal goggles should help you out too. The Fear uses two kinds of crossbows, the Little Joe and the William Tell. The Little Joe is designed for proximity combat. It's not that powerful, but the reload time is short. The William Tell, on the other hand, is used for long-range combat. It takes a while to reload, but it's got loads of stopping power. Be careful. In addition to regular crossbow bolts, the Fear uses a variety of special bolts, like poison bolts and giant bolts. I've even heard he uses bolts with grenades attached to them. If you get hit by any of these, you're gonna take some serious damage. Watch out.
Snake, watch out for the Fear's poison bolts.
If you're hit with a poison bolt, the poison will enter your bloodstream. Unless you neutralize it with serum, your life will just keep diminishing.
Snake, you've been caught in a snare trap? You're going to get yourself shot if you stay up there. Use the action button to cut the rope and escape from the trap. Hurry before he finds you.
There should be an herb called Chinese plantain growing in that area. The Chinese plantain is an herb that resembles a plantain root. The leaves and seeds contain large amounts of aucubin, choline, and tannin. When you mash it up and apply it to a wound, it helps stop the flow of blood and eases the pain a bit. The Chinese plantain becomes a styptic when you pick it up. If you see one, don't forget to take it with you. Snake, I think there's a plant called Slav horehound growing in that area. Slav horehound is an herb in the horehound family. It contains large amounts of diterpene, flavonoids, and alkaloids, which give it strong germicidal properties. If you find one, it should make a good disinfectant.
Snake, have you been contacted by Eva?
Yeah, she said we'd meet up in the ruins at the top of the mountains. She also said she picked up the key to get into the tunnel that leads to Grozny Grad.
Good. Hurry to the rendezvous with Eva. Head for the mountains. Proceed north through the woods. There's an entrance to a mine shaft at the far northeast corner. Climb up the shaft and you'll come out in the mountains. Head north.
I'm on it.
But stay on your toes. Isn't the Cobra unit sniper lying in wait for you?
Yeah, the end. But there's no other way.
Watch yourself. Your opponent is a legendary sniper. Your fight with the end will likely be a long and grueling one. You should stock up on battle necessities like ammunition and provisions now, while you still can.
I'm on it.
But stay on your toes. The ocelots are supposed to be lying in wait for you. They may even have snipers in position.
I know, but there's no other way.
Proceed with caution.
Roger that.
Snake, that forest is immense. It's too dangerous to proceed without adequate information. Give Eva a call.
Now all you have to do is follow the tunnel north to the mountains of Krasnogorye. But you might want to swing around east first. There's a provisions storehouse there.
Eva said there was a provisions storehouse in the east of that forest. Why don't you go and pay it a visit? Proceed north through the woods. There's an entrance to a mine shaft at the far northeast corner. Climb up the shaft and you'll come out in the mountains. Head north.
One of the Cobras, the End, is waiting for you in Sokrovieno. He's a legendary sniper. But Sokrovieno is also where...
I know. The ocelots, right?
Yeah. The Ocelot unit is waiting for you in Sokrovieno. I hear they've even got snipers in position. Watch your back.
Eva.
Hmm?
There's a house here in the middle of the woods.
So there is.
It looks like a cottage, but what is it?
It really was a cottage once. It was originally the dacha of a high-ranking official. Now it's being used as a relay station. There should be a supply of ammo and rations. I also heard they put an M63 light machine gun in there. But watch out. There's supposed to be a unit posted in there.
Snake, the End is a veteran sniper. He's hiding somewhere in those woods, waiting for you to appear. If he sees you, he'll shoot without hesitation. Make your way through the forest, hiding along the way, and watch out for signs of the End. Anticipate his movements, and come up on his side or get behind him for a chance to attack. Be careful. The End uses a special kind of tranquilizer round.
If he shoots you with one of those tranquilizer rounds, you'll start to lose stamina fast. When your stamina gauge reaches 0, you'll pass out. If you're hit by a tranquilizer round, go into the survival viewer right away and treat the wound. Use your knife to dig out the needle.
If you run out of stamina, it's all over. Make sure you keep your stamina up by hunting for food on a regular basis. This battle will be a long, grueling sniper duel. But don't let your guard down, not even for a single moment. The binoculars and first-person view will prove useful in detecting the enemy's presence. You should also be making use of your motion detector, active sonar, and anti-personnel sensor. You might also try using the directional microphone. The End is a renowned sniper, but he's also an expert in camouflage. He's lying low somewhere in those woods and waiting for his chance. You'll only get yourself shot if you run around like a fool. Use your camouflage to blend in. Take cover behind rocks and trees and find where he's hiding. Make use of your binoculars. Keep a close eye out for the flash from his scope. You can also try using the thermal goggles. The best locations for sniping are determined naturally by the terrain. The End may use the same location multiple times. Memorize the spots he chooses for sniping and sneak up behind him. You can tell which locations the End has used for sniping by looking at the map in the survival viewer. Anticipate where he'll be sniping from and approach him from the side or rear. If you reach the spot where you think the End is hiding and he's not there anymore, don't give up. Take a close look at the ground. He may have left footprints behind. You can use those to determine which way he went. Anticipate his movements and get behind him.
If you run out of stamina, you won't be able to resist the effects of the End's tranquilizer rounds, and you'll end up falling asleep. Hunt for food on a regular basis to keep your stamina level up. If you start to run out of food or ammunition, you should think about leaving the woods and coming back later. In any case, always keep an eye on your stamina gauge. You'll thank me later.
Socrovieno Forest is a big place. It's times like this that the map function in the survival viewer can be your best friend. Not only does it show you the terrain and the places you've been, but you can also use it to figure out which locations the End has chosen for his sniping positions. Learn the terrain and try to catch the End off guard from behind. Hey, you've got thermal goggles, don't you? Use those and it should make it easier to find the End, even when he's camouflaged. A word of warning, though. I've heard that when he's meshing with the forest, his body temperature drops so that it's just barely above the outside air temperature. He's probably going to be harder to find than your average grunt.
I know it's hard to believe, but the End is apparently capable of photosynthesis. He's probably got an edge over you in terms of stamina. You should start hunting for plants and animals and prepare for a battle of attrition. There's an armory in the southern area of Socrovieno. You can use it to replenish your supply of ammo if you start to run out. But stay alert. The End might be lying in wait for you there.
You've been shot by the End?
Yeah.
If you're hit by one of the End's tranquilizer rounds, the tranquilizer needle will stay stuck in your body. Until you remove the needle, you'll keep losing stamina rapidly. When your stamina reaches 0, you'll lose consciousness. You've got to dig that needle out. To get the needle out, go to Cure in the survival viewer and use your knife. You'd better take care of it before you pass out. Now get to it.
Snake, are you all right?
Yeah. What happened to me?
The End hit you with the tranquilizer dart and you passed out.
Then what?
The End took you to the lab while you were unconscious and left you there.
The End did?
Yeah,
Why? Why'd he let me live?
maybe he's still waiting.
Waiting?
Yeah, waiting for you to show him the true End. The End should still be waiting for you in that forest, Socrovieno. Until you defeat him, you won't be able to proceed with your mission. Go back to Socrovieno. Defeat the End.
Snake, it appears you were knocked out by the End's tranquilizer rounds.
Yeah, but why didn't he kill me?
I don't know, but I expect he's still in Socrovieno. Until you defeat the End, you won't be able to reach the mountains. Snake, go back to Socrovieno, and this time, finish him. Snake, are you all right? You seem awfully tired.
No, not at all.
You don't have to act tough.
I'm not acting.
Really? You lose your grip strength after only a few seconds when hanging. I'll bet you can't even hold your gun straight. Your body is exhausted. Look at your stamina gauge. It's almost empty, isn't it? You can't continue your mission in this state. You need to eat something and recover your stamina. You've got some food, don't you?
Yeah.
Eating is a necessary part of your mission. When your stamina gets low, make sure you eat something. Got it?
Major, I found the End. He's dead.
What the hell happened?
Maybe it was from old age.
You mean he kicked the bucket in the middle of a battle?
Maybe.
Well, Snake, the victory is yours.
No, I don't think so.
What do you mean?
It was his dying wish to fight me, but I disappointed him.
Snake, listen to yourself. This is a mission. It's not a game, it's not a sport. You think you're competing for the gold at Tokyo or something?
I guess you're right.
Just focus on completing the mission.
Yes, sir.
Snake, be careful. Aren't the ocelots supposed to be setting an ambush for you in those woods?
Yeah, and I hear they've got snipers, too.
The ocelots are an elite unit handpicked from the ranks of Gru. You won't find them so easy to deal with. Use your camouflage to avoid being seen. Proceed with caution. Your primary objective is to climb the mountains and rendezvous with Eva. There's no need to face the ocelots in battle. The shaft leading to the mountains is located in the northeast part of the northern area of the woods. Keep an eye out for ambushes and head northeast. Snake, be on the lookout for ambushes by the ocelots. They may be hiding in the bushes and similar places. Make sure you're fully camouflaged and proceed with caution.
Snake, those snipers will be aiming right for your vital spots. They're precise, and you're likely to be seriously wounded if you get hit. Use your camouflage to sneak past them without being seen.
Snake, watch out for ambushes by the ocelots. Use your motion detector and active sonar to help you get ahead.
Take out those ocelots and head for the shaft. The ocelots are an elite unit handpicked from the ranks of Spetsnaz, Gru's special forces. So naturally, their fighting skills are second to none. They're crack shots, and if they hit you, you'll likely be seriously wounded. Avoid taking them head on. If they manage to surround you in large numbers, you're finished. Use your camouflage to conceal yourself from them and keep moving.
Rendezvous with Eva at the top of the mountains. According to her, the shaft leading to the mountains should be located in the far northeastern corner of the forest. Enter the shaft and head into the mountains. Proceed to the northeast. Snake, the ladder at the end of that shaft should take you up into the mountains. Proceed to the back and climb the ladder.
Good. You're in the tunnel. The ladder at the end of the tunnel will take you up into the mountains. Head down the tunnel and climb up the ladder.
Move the right stick in a direction during overhead view to look in that direction. Move the right stick to the left to see what's nearby on screen left. Move right for screen right, up to see what's further ahead, and down to see what's nearby. If you press the right stick while it's pointed in a direction, you can lock the camera on that position. For example, if you're heading north, move the right stick up and press it to lock the camera, allowing you to observe things in the direction of movement. Then, if you later spot an enemy patrol to the east, lock the camera to the right so you can hide while observing the threat. Use of this technique can be greatly advantageous to your mission. Make sure to get the most out of it. You found your way to the mountains, I see. There's an underground tunnel near the top. You can use it to sneak into Grozny Grad. But Eva said the door to the tunnel is sealed off.
Yeah, she's supposed to bring me the key.
First, rendezvous with Eva and get the key from her. The rendezvous point is in the ruins at the summit. The summit is still further up the mountain. Keep heading up towards the summit. Snake, paramedic has something to tell you.
Snake, the altitude in those mountains is pretty high. That means the oxygen concentration in the air is lower than normal. When there's less oxygen in the air, naturally you'll be breathing less oxygen as well, and the oxygen content of your blood will go down. In other words, you run the risk of becoming hypoxic. Hypoxia is a very serious condition. In the worst cases, it can lead to pulmonary and cerebral edema. I don't think you need to worry right now, but all the same, be careful.
So, what do I need to be careful about?
In high-altitude areas, you will tire quicker than normal.
Okay.
Snake, climbing uphill takes a lot of stamina as it is, but on top of that, the air up there is thinner than normal. You're burning through stamina a lot faster now than ever before. Keep an eye on your stamina gauge. Be sure to eat something to restore your stamina before you run out.
Snake, watch out for enemy soldiers carrying RPG-7s. A full-on rocket blast is not something you can just walk away from. However, it takes some time to reload a rocket launcher. Use that opening to your advantage.
You must be worn out from all that mountain climbing. There's a provision storehouse at the back of the hillside area. Why don't you go stock up on rations? Stay alert. Volgin has sent out attack choppers to stop you. You saw them at the heliport, didn't you? They're probably already patrolling the area.
I don't see it.
Really?
No,
You must have missed it. Look again.
No, it's not here.
Maybe it's because you destroyed that one at the heliport. But I'm sure it'll be there, in the next area. Honest.
It looks like there's an anti-aircraft gun emplacement there. You can operate an anti-aircraft gun emplacement by standing next to it and pressing the action button. Use the weapon button to control the trigger. You can also zoom in on a target by pressing the aim button. The anti-aircraft cannon should be more than a match even for that attack chopper. But remember, its ammo supply is limited. Obviously you can't move around as long as you're sitting in the seat. If the enemy gets too close for comfort, press the action button and get out of the seat immediately. Is that clear?
Snake, you see that anti-aircraft gun? That's a ZU-23, a light towable anti-aircraft gun that the Soviets started producing in 1957. It was designed for deployment in airborne units and motorized rifle divisions without their own self-propelled anti-air guns. It's got two 23mm air-cooled automatic cannons with a firing rate of 800 rounds per minute. They usually take a 6-man crew to operate, but you ought to be able to handle one by yourself. In addition to shooting at low-flying aircraft, you can also use them as machine guns to target light armored land vehicles. I imagine they'd be more than a match for that new attack chopper of theirs, too. You can take over an anti-aircraft gun the same way you take over a gun emplacement. Stand next to it and press the action button. Use the weapon button to fire. Press the aim button to focus in on a target. Just remember that they've got limited ammo. Also, don't forget, you can't move around while you're using an emplacement. If the enemy's getting too close for comfort, press the action button to ditch it. Pronto.
Snake, Eva is a KGB spy placed in Gru. She can't be seen by the enemy making direct contact with you. If you're being pursued by the enemy, don't expect Eva to come out to meet you. Make sure it's normal phase before you attempt to make contact with Eva. If the enemies in that area catch sight of you, they'll call in for support from the Hind. The Hind's armor is impenetrable to normal fire, such as rifle bullets. But if you take over one of the anti-aircraft guns placed throughout the mountains, you should be able to take it on. What else could you use against a Hind? Well, I suppose a rocket launcher might do the trick.
The Hind is armed with a 12.7mm machine gun on the nose and rocket pods and anti-tank missiles on the stub wing hardpoints. Normally, you'd be crazy to try and fight it on foot. If it starts attacking with the machine gun or the rockets, take cover behind something as fast as you can. As for the missiles, you should be able to knock out their guidance system by using a chaff grenade to block the radio signal. Your assault rifle won't penetrate the Hind's armor. If you don't use a rocket launcher or something with similar firepower, you won't be able to take it down. If you can take over one of the anti-aircraft guns in the mountains, you'll be more than a match for that Hind. The Hind is a transport attack chopper that can carry personnel. It might drop some troops on you. Don't get caught off guard. The Hind is protected by heavy armor, but a rifle bullet might be able to penetrate through the cockpit canopy. Try using the SVD.
Snake, as I was saying before, there's an attack chopper in that area.
So it would seem.
You saw them at the heliport, didn't you? They're probably already patrolling the area. If you get spotted by the enemy, you'll be dealing with that thing.
Just my luck. I don't have any weapons that'll work against them.
There should be an RPG-7 in a bunker in the hillside.
A portable rocket launcher, huh? That should be enough to swat bothersome flies.
You could also try using an anti-aircraft gun. You can take over an anti-aircraft gun by pressing the action button when you're near it.
Don't worry. I found an RPG-7. That should be enough to swat down a few flies. Eva, is that attack chopper the escape route you were talking about?
No, that thing doesn't have enough range for us to escape in.
So what are we going to use?
Something you've never been in before.
Something I've never been in.
That's right. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
That's the entrance to the underground tunnel Eva was talking about. Can you open it?
It's no good.
It looks like Eva was right. The door to the underground tunnel won't open without a key. Rendezvous with Eva and get the key from her. Head for the ruins at the summit.
Eva, this door won't open.
Of course it won't.
Why not?
Why? Because it's the door to that underground tunnel I was telling you about, silly. Don't you listen to people when they're talking? You won't be able to open that door without the key. I've got that key. I'll give it to you when we meet up. The rendezvous point is the ruins at the top of the mountains. Hurry!
You've got the key from Eva. Now use it to enter the underground tunnel. The great fortress of Grozny Grad is at the end of that tunnel. The door to the underground tunnel is in the summit area. Hurry. It looks like you can get a nice panoramic view of Grozny Grad from there. Perhaps you should scout it out now while you can. Just don't do anything too conspicuous. Remember that the attack chopper is still on patrol. Snake, watch out for enemy troops carrying flamethrowers. Under no circumstances should you get close to the flame troops. Either sneak by without being seen, or take them out from a distance.
If you get blasted by a flamethrower, your body will catch on fire. If your body catches on fire, either roll around repeatedly to put it out, or go into the survival viewer and change out of the burning clothes. When you catch fire, you'll get burned unless you put the flames out quickly. So be sure to extinguish the flames right away, okay?
Follow that tunnel to the north and you'll come out inside Grozny Grad. Keep going north. The Fury is equipped with a powerful flamethrower. Whatever you do, don't attack him from the front. Get behind him and attack him from there. You'll never get anywhere fumbling around in the dark. You need to be able to see first. Use the night vision goggles. You could also try using a torch or a cigar. The Fury's flamethrower is immensely powerful. Do not, under any circumstances, try to approach him from the front.
Those flames are incredibly intense. If you get blasted at close range, it's likely to result in a severe burn. If you get burned, go into the survival viewer right away and use Cure to treat it.
You can't fight if you can't see in front of your face. You need to be able to rely on your vision. You can try the night vision goggles, but keep an eye on the batteries. Don't look straight at the Fury's flames when you're wearing the night vision goggles though, or you'll be blinded by the after image for a while. If he fires the flamethrower, either look away or take off the goggles. If the batteries in the night vision goggles are used up, you can use a cigar or a torch for light. But if you try and get close to him with the light on, he'll know you're there. Keep that in mind. That's not an ordinary flamethrower the Fury's using. Normally, flamethrowers use a mixture of napalm and gasoline for fuel. But from what I hear, that guy is using liquid rocket fuel. I'm guessing it's probably a mixture of UDHM, unsymmetrical dimethylhydrazine, and NTO, nitrogen tetroxide. I'm sure you've seen how potent that stuff is. The Fury's flamethrower is one hell of a weapon. Any frontal attack you make is just gonna get swatted down by the flames. You gotta circle around him and attack from behind or from the side. The Fury is wearing a special flame-proof outfit made from a spacesuit. If it's tough enough to stand up to those flames he's belching out, grenades and white phosphorus grenades aren't even gonna make a dent. Of course, if you manage to tear through that suit, then it's a different story. If you use a knife and engage him at close range, you should be able to rip right through that flame-proof suit of his. To get close enough to use your knife, try stalking up from behind him. But you've got more to worry about than not making noise. Any light you're carrying, like a cigar or a torch, will give you away. So when you're creeping up on him, unequip your cigar or torch. You broke through the Fury's flameproof suit? Now grenades and white phosphorus should work on him. You can also try blowing up a drum when he's standing next to it.
Watch out for the Fury's flying attacks. Even if he's far away from you, he can close in on you in an instant. But he should be vulnerable for an instant when he takes off. And when he lands. That's your chance.
The tunnel looks like it's getting pretty hot. That's what happens when you use such a powerful flamethrower in an enclosed space. In that kind of heat, you'll lose stamina more quickly than normal. Be sure to eat something to replenish your stamina before you get too exhausted to fight.
You defeated the Fury, huh?
Yeah,
That only leaves...
I haven't forgotten.
Good. But your first priority is to get Sokolov out of the fortress.
Right.
The ladder at the end of that underground tunnel should take you up into Grozny Grad. Once the Shagohod is completed, there's no telling how long they'll let Sokolov live. You've got to hurry. The other side of that door is blocked by rubble as a result of the Fury's explosion. You won't be able to open it. Forget about it and continue your mission. Good. You've finally made it inside Grozny Grad.
Finally.
Stay alert. This is the enemy's main base. The security here is on a scale you haven't encountered yet.
No kidding.
Your objective is the weapons lab. It's the giant building in the center of the fortress. Sokolov is in the west wing of that building. To get into the area where Sokolov is imprisoned, you'll need to find Major Rykov, steal his clothes, and disguise yourself as him. Rykov is supposed to be in the east wing of the weapons lab. Start out by sneaking into the east wing of the weapons lab, then neutralize Rykov and take his clothes. The weapons lab is to the northeast of the area you're in now. Head northeast.
Eva,
Snake,
you're all right.
were you worried about me?
Yeah, I can't continue my mission without your help.
I'm touched by your honesty. Don't concern yourself with me. I'm doing just fine. But
What?
thanks anyway.
Sure.
Okay, back to the mission. The security in the West Wing where Sokolov is being held is extremely tight. The only ones who are cleared to enter the West Wing are those with Colonel-class authorization. One of those people is Major Rykov. To get into the West Wing, you could disguise yourself as Rykov. First, you'll have to take Rykov out and steal his uniform. He's in the East Wing of the weapons lab in the center of Grozny Grad. The East Wing is northeast of your current location. Head northeast.
All right, but why?
Huh?
Why do I have to steal Rykov's clothes from him? What about that scientist outfit?
That's not going to work this time around. Rykov's uniform is a special type that only he wears. You'll have to get it directly from him. Normally, I'm pretty good at getting men to take off their clothes, but it won't work on him.
Huh?
You, on the other hand, might have a better chance with him.
What's that supposed to mean?
What indeed? Anyway, the only way to get Rykov's uniform is to take him out and steal it yourself. He's somewhere in the East Wing.
Good. You've infiltrated the East Wing. Rykov should be somewhere in that building. Take him down and steal his clothes. But you can't simply wander around the enemy's home base looking like that. For now, disguise yourself as a scientist while you look for Rykov. Rykov is somewhere within the East Wing. Find him and dispatch him.
You made it into the East Wing. Good. Rykov is somewhere in that building. You know what he looks like, don't you? When you find him, steal his uniform. But if you go in dressed like that, the enemy will spot you long before you find Rykov. Disguise yourself as a scientist. There are scientists in the East Wing. Almost all of them were taken here against their will, like Sokolov. If they see you, they probably won't attack you. But they can still get you in trouble by yelling for help or pressing the alarm switches on the walls. So you should be watching out for scientists as well as enemy grunts. Even if you disguise yourself as a scientist, the real scientists will know you're not one of their own if they get a good look at your face. So make sure the real scientists can't see your face while you're in your scientist disguise. And don't do anything funny like crawling or rolling around. If a scientist gets suspicious about your disguise, just turn your face away and pretend nothing's wrong. That should work most of the time. There are enemy soldiers patrolling the East Wing as well. Even if you disguise yourself as a scientist, they'll know something's up if you crawl, roll, punch, or stay pressed up against the wall for a long time. If an enemy gets suspicious and starts coming your way, just stay still and keep your mouth shut. That ought to fool them. If enemy soldiers or scientists see you take down Rykov, you'll be in for it. Make sure to get Rykov someplace out of sight. Someplace like the locker room on the southwest side of the second floor, maybe? Rykov is making the rounds inside the East Wing. If you see him, take him out before he has a chance to get away. Try using the cigarette-shaped sleep gas gun. The knockout handkerchief might also come in handy. Rykov always carries a Makarov with him. Make sure you don't get shot. Rykov is famous for being a glutton. I've heard he'll even stop and pick up food that's lying on the floor. But for such a pig, he's got a weak stomach, and is always running for the toilet after eating that stuff. Why don't you try giving Rykov something rotten to eat, and then waiting for him in the bathroom? Snake, that door can't be opened by normal means. Apparently it operates by responding to a specific radio frequency. If you want to know the key frequency, why don't you try asking someone nearby?
Sigint, this door is...
I heard. The door seems to be set up to open in response to a radio signal on a specific frequency. Hey, you've got a device that transmits radio signals on different frequencies. Maybe you could use that to open it. But the key frequency is probably going to be different for each door. If you need to know which one, why don't you try capturing a scientist or a grunt around there and asking them?
We know that Major Rykov is a glutton. Maybe you could use that to your advantage. Why not give him something rotten to eat and then lay an ambush for him in the toilets?
Good. You've taken care of Rykov. Now to take those clothes he's wearing. But don't take his clothes off there out in the open. It's far too conspicuous. Also, once you've disguised yourself as Rykov, you'll need to find someplace to hide the real Rykov's body. Drag Rykov's body into the locker room. The locker room is on the southwest side of the second floor. Be careful not to wake Rykov up while you're dragging him, and make sure you're not seen by enemy soldiers or scientists.
You took care of Rykov? Good. Now drag him to the locker room. There shouldn't be anyone in there. You won't need to worry about anyone seeing you take his clothes, and you can hide his body too. The locker room is on the southwest side of the second floor. Hurry and take him there.
I see you've got Rykov's clothes from him. Disguise yourself as Rykov and infiltrate the West Wing, where Sokolov is being held. Select Officer from Uniform on the Camouflage screen to change into Rykov's uniform. However, that won't be enough to pass as Rykov. To really become Rykov, you'll need to make your face look like his as well as your clothes. As for how you do that, well, I'll let you think about it.
Snake, what are you doing? You got Rykov's clothes, didn't you? Hurry up and change into them. If you fail your mission, you'll be taking me down with you. Get it together.
Major, I disguised myself as Rykov. What? No good?
No. Snake, you can't pass yourself off as Rykov simply by wearing his clothes. You need to make your face look like his as well. There must be a way to make your face look like Rykov's. Think, Snake.
Okay, you're wearing Rykov's uniform. But there's still something missing. I don't think the disguise is going to work unless you make yourself look more like him.
Eva, I disguised myself as Rykov. What's wrong?
Something's not quite right.
Not right? What? What is it?
I got it. Your face is all wrong.
Let's say what now?
I mean, your face isn't his.
Well, I would hope not.
Well, you need to do something about that.
Do what?
Well, you're a smart guy. You figure it out. In order to sneak into the West Wing, you need to become Rykov. That means more than just wearing his clothes. Your face has to match his too. There must be a way to do that.
Snake, wait! Are you just going to leave Rykov's body lying outside of the locker? If someone finds the real Rykov, you won't be able to get away with disguising yourself as him. And you won't be able to get into the West Wing either. In other words, mission failed. Go back and put him in the locker. Hurry! Ah, your Rykov disguise has turned out nicely.
Yeah, not even his own mother could tell the difference.
Indeed. You're starting to irritate me already.
Why? This look should make me more popular.
I wouldn't bet on it, but whatever. Now that you're indistinguishable from the real Rykov, you'll be able to get into the West Wing, to which only Volgin and Rykov have access. Head for the West Wing of the Weapons Lab. That's where Sokolov is being held. Enter the main wing from the second floor of the East Wing. Pass west through the main wing, and you'll come to a connecting passageway. The West Wing is at the other end of that passageway. Infiltrate the West Wing and rescue Sokolov. Now that you're the spitting image of Rykov, no one will have cause to suspect you. But if someone finds Rykov hidden in the locker, your disguise will become useless. If that happens, your mission will end in failure. Whatever you do, don't open the locker. Is that clear? While you're disguised as Rykov, you can press the action button to perform a salute. If you want, why don't you try saluting some of the soldiers and scientists? As long as you're disguised as Rykov, you'll be able to go anywhere in the fortress, and no one will suspect a thing. Now may be a good time to do a little exploring around the place.
Okay, you're disguised as Rykov. You ought to be able to pass for the real deal in that outfit. You can go anywhere you want and nobody's going to ask questions. But don't forget that you can't equip most of your weapons when you're in disguise.
Okay, your Rykov disguise is complete. Now they won't stop you no matter what you do.
Even if I punch someone in the face?
Right.
Really?
Really.
Why?
Rykov's just that kind of guy. Once you're disguised as Rykov, you can get into the West Wing where Sokolov is being held. To get to the entrance to the West Wing, pass west through the main wing of the Weapons Lab and go through the connecting passageway. You can get into the main wing of the Weapons Lab from the southwest side of the second floor. Head for the main wing. Don't worry about Rykov. No one will find him in the locker for a while. But when they do find him, your disguise will be useless, You won't be able to get into the West Wing, and your mission will be a failure. So whatever you do, don't open the locker with Rykov in it, all right? Snake, that door leads to the hangar. It's where they're making adjustments to the Shagohod. But you can't open it unless you have the key. I'll get the key for you soon enough. But in the meantime, you should rescue Sokolov first. Head for the West Wing.
You can use the mask to make your face look like Rykov's. To wear the mask, select Mask from Face on the camouflage screen. Snake, that passageway leads to the West Wing where Sokolov is being held captive. But the only ones who can open the door to the West Wing are those sentries there. The only way to get into the West Wing is to disguise yourself as Rykov and get the sentries to open the door for you. You should be able to fool them with that disguise. Pretend you're Rykov and get them to open the door. Quickly, change into your Rykov disguise. Snake, those sentries are the only ones who can open the door. You won't be able to get into the West Wing if you knock them all out. You'll just have to go someplace else and wait for new sentries to be posted. Snake?
Major,
You're all right.
I wouldn't say all right, but at least I'm alive.
That's good enough.
But they took all my weapons and equipment from me.
Well, you've still got your radio and medical items with you.
Yeah,
I wonder why that is.
Perhaps Volgin's not finished with you just yet.
well, I'm not finished with him yet either.
Snake, you've got to escape from that cell somehow. There must be a way. Use your head. The boss gave you a gun?
Yeah, a single-action army.
For what?
I'm not sure.
Anyway, why don't you use that gun to shoot?
I can't.
Why not?
No bullets.
I see. Well, you'll be able to get some once you're outside. First, you've got to escape from that cell. There must be a way. Don't give up.
Major, I'm sorry. Sokolov, I couldn't...
Don't say it. You weren't able to rescue him, but that doesn't mean your mission has failed yet. Eva said they've completed Phase 2. There is no time left. You must destroy the Shagohod at all costs. That will be our final tribute to him.
Right.
Snake, I've got some good news.
What is it?
Volgin isn't planning to kill you. At least not for the time being.
Why?
I think he wants to make you suffer some more.
Oh, that's a relief.
Yeah. This means you'll have more of an opportunity to escape.
I was being sarcastic.
Anyway, Volgin has given orders that you're to be kept alive.
So the guard will bring me food and medical supplies, huh?
Exactly. If anything happens to you, he'll be executed by Volgin. Well, this could be useful.
You need to build up your stamina before trying to escape. Without your stamina, you won't have the strength to punch and kick. In any case, you've got to eat something to restore your stamina. That's an order. Sleep is another good way to replenish your life and stamina. Save the game and take a break. When you load the game from your save data the next time, you'll recover strength based on how long you've rested.
Snake, the door of the cell is set up to open when it receives a radio signal on a certain frequency. If you only knew the frequency, you could use your radio to open the door.
I'm trying to dig up as much as I can on that cell. Just sit tight. Snake, there's gotta be a way out of there. Don't give up!
The door of the cell seems to open in response to a specific radio frequency. Perhaps you've seen or heard it somewhere already.
I don't think so.
That's a shame.
That guard is under orders from Volgin to keep you alive. If anything happens to you, Volgin will have him executed. So he'll be keeping a close eye on your condition. If you pretend to be sick or something, I'll bet he'd come rushing over to your side.
Pretending to be sick.
Yeah, there's lots of ways. Think about it. Snake, I found some info on the guard. That guard is notorious for being hungry all the time. He's even been caught and flogged for sneaking into the mess hall at night and eating scraps. Maybe you could win him over by sharing your food. Oh, and I heard that he's particularly sympathetic to American prisoners for some reason.
Why?
Not really sure. Snake, the door to that cell is the kind that opens in response to a specific radio frequency.
A specific radio frequency?
Right. You should be able to open it by using your radio to send a signal on the key frequency.
Sounds good. Do you know the frequency?
I'll try and find out. Give me a minute.
Eva, did you find out the frequency I need to open the door?
Sorry, Snake. I tried everything I could, but the security is just too tight.
Great.
Snake, I found out the frequency that opens the door. It's 144.75. Stand in front of the door and send a message on frequency 144.75.
Snake, you're really gonna feel the cold with no clothes on.
The Major's right. You'll burn stamina a lot faster when you're naked. Be sure to eat regularly.
Snake, now that you've lost even your CQC knife, you won't be able to use CQC. You won't be able to grab or throw enemies either. You can still throw punches by pressing the CQC button and launch combos by pressing it several times in a row. That'll have to do for now. Snake, now that all your clothing has been taken from you, you won't be able to camouflage yourself. Remember the basics of a sneaking mission. Stay out of the enemy's line of sight and proceed from one hiding spot to the next. Use caution.
Snake, do you have any clothes?
Not yet.
So you're still naked.
Yeah?
When you don't have any clothes on, your body loses heat quickly. That makes you burn stamina a lot faster. Make sure you keep eating. It doesn't need to be clothes. Anything you have that can cover you up should help you conserve stamina.
When you're using the assault rifle, pressing the weapon button will hold it at waist level. That's nice if you need to drop nearby enemies with some speed, but it's difficult to aim straight. If you need to take more accurate shots, like tagging enemies in vital spots from a distance, use the aim button instead. Equip the weapon in first-person view and press the aim button to aim the gun from the shoulder. You can take precise aim with the front and rear sights. When you're focusing on your mark, it will be as accurate as if you were zooming in.
Without weapons or equipment, you're not going to be able to continue your mission. I've got all your belongings with me. Let's meet up outside the fortress. There's an open manhole in the northwestern section of the fortress. You can use it to get down into the sewers and make your way out of Grozny Grad. To get to the manhole, go under the passageway leading to the west wing and head north.
Major, Eva's escape route is...
I heard. For now, you've got no choice but to do as Eva says and head north. Enemy search parties are already headed your way. Don't just stand there, run! Snake, Eva said the sewers have been sealed off. If you go up the ladder, I'm afraid all you'd find is the enemy waiting for you. Do as Eva says and run to the north. The enemy is bound to have sent a search party after you. Hurry!
Snake, without any decent weapons, you'll just get yourself injured in a fight. You don't have enough medical items either. Forget about fighting and just run, okay?
Snake, forgive me. The escape route I set up has been cut off. They've already sent units out to hunt you down, and they've got attack dogs with them. There's a way out of the sewers to the north. Head north as fast as you can. There's no way to get past the iron grates blocking the passageways, but there are a lot of side ducts connecting the passageways together. Crawl through those ducts to get around the grates. Snake, watch out! The search party has released attack dogs into the sewers. Without any decent weapons, it's too dangerous to take those dogs on in a fight. Don't even think about fighting the attack dogs. Your only concern right now is to get away. Head north.
The enemy appears to have released attack dogs into the sewers. Without any decent weapons, it's too dangerous to take those dogs on. Stay away from the dogs and keep heading north. That's an order.
The enemy has sent out attack dogs after you. You won't stand a chance against them in your present state. Just keep running north. You might be able to distract the attack dogs by throwing food at them. Give it a shot.
Major, I found a door.
That's the escape route Eva was talking about. Can you get it open?
No.
Then it's been sealed off after all. Snake, forget about getting through the door. Do as Eva says and head north. Snake, what happened? Snake! Snake! Snake, respond! Snake! Snake! What's going on? Snake! 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 What's your status? Snake! Snake!
Snake, are you okay? Snake! Snake! Snake? Oh my god. Snake! Snake! Snake, you have to get up! Snake! Snake! Snake, what happened? Talk to me! Snake! Snake!
Snake, don't quit on me now! Snake! 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 Come on, say something! Snake! Snake! Quit fooling around, Snake. Snake? Snake!
Snake, don't do this to me! Snake! Snake! No, this isn't happening! Snake! Snake! Snake, answer me! Snake! Snake! Snake, what happened to you? Snake? Snake! Snake!
The waterfall where Eva said she'd meet you is up ahead to the north. Head that direction. Snake, I see you've recovered your weapons and equipment.
Now I can finally go on the offensive.
Time to pay Volgin back for what he did to you.
Yeah, and then some.
But first, you've got to destroy the Shaggohod. The Shaggohod is in the hangar in the main wing of the weapons lab. Go back to Grozny Grad, make your way into the hangar, and destroy the Shaggohod. You can get back into Grozny Grad by going to the end of the cave behind the waterfall. Head back to Grozny Grad.
There's a ladder at the back of the cave behind the waterfall that will take you up into the fortress. Head to the back of the cave.
That idea Sokolov had of planting C3 on the liquid fuel tanks. Not a bad idea. The fuel he was referring to is probably UDMH, unsymmetrical dimethylhydrazine. It's highly flammable but difficult to handle. If you can blow it all up at once with C3, it'll take the entire weapons lab with it, no doubt. But that's only if you manage to plant the C3 in the right place on each tank. So don't screw it up.
That ladder will take you up into the southwestern part of Grozny Grad. Climb the ladder.
Snake, you've got to destroy the Shaggohod. It's located in the hangar in the main wing of the weapons lab. To get into the hangar, use the door just inside the main wing as you enter it from the second floor of the east wing. Start out by heading to the east wing of the weapons lab.
The Shaggohod is in the hangar of the main wing of the weapons lab. You can get into the hangar through the door located at the entrance to the main wing on the second floor of the east wing. Hurry! Snake, they know you disguised yourself as Rykov to get in last time. And besides, you lost the hat, so I don't think the disguise is going to work anymore. The only way for you to sneak into the east wing of the weapons lab is through the entrance. Speaking of which, I sometimes see trucks going in and out through there. If you can sneak onto one of those trucks somehow... It looks like you made it inside the hangar, huh? Plant the C3 charges on the liquid fuel tanks. There are 4 tanks in all. If one of the C3 charges you planted is dismantled by the enemy, your mission is over. Try to plant the C3 someplace out of the way where it won't be seen. If it looks like an enemy is about to find a charge, take him down immediately. And if the enemy sees you planting the C3, show's over, folks. So don't plant the charges in alert phase. Got it? Once you've finished planting C3 on all 4 tanks, turn the timer on. When the count reaches 0, all of the C3 charges will explode at once. Once the timer has started, there's no way to stop it. Make sure you're out of there by the time it reaches 0. Got it? Aha! You disguised yourself as one of the maintenance crew. Dressed like that, you should be able to go anywhere you want in the hangar. Don't go doing anything suspicious like rolling around or crawling. And if the maintenance crew gets a good look at your face, they'll know you're not one of them. If the maintenance crew gets suspicious, turn around so they can't see your face and act casual. If the guards get suspicious, just stand still and you should be fine. The maintenance crew in charge of getting the Shaggohod ready is in the hangar. You don't want them to see you any more than you want the guards to, so keep an eye out for them.
Snake, your job is to plant the C3 charges on the liquid fuel tanks. There are 4 liquid fuel tanks. You need to place a C3 charge on each of them. The tanks should all be located close to the Shaggohod. Snake, be careful when you approach the liquid fuel tanks. Apparently, even the smallest disturbance will cause them to explode. Don't use firearms near the tanks. Snake, watch out for Volgin's electric shock attacks. If you're shocked while equipping a gun, the bullets inside the magazine will ignite and the gun will explode. But he should be vulnerable just after launching a series of shock attacks. Avoid the attacks and either shoot him from his blind side or engage him directly with punches or CQC. And don't forget that the timer is still ticking on the C3 detonators. When it reaches 0, it's all over. You've got to finish him off before then. Snake, don't concern yourself with Ocelot up there. Concentrate on defeating Volgin.
When Volgin is discharging electricity from his body, you'll get electrocuted just by touching him, so you can't grab him with CQC. When Volgin isn't discharging electricity, however, that's your chance to use CQC. Attack Volgin whenever you see an opening. Snake, what if you put on that mask? You might just be able to shake Volgin up.
Shake him up. Why?
Never mind, just do it.
Volgin seems to be deflecting bullets away by wrapping a powerful electromagnetic field around his body. You won't hit him if you fire at him from the front. If you're going to attack him with a gun, do it from the side or the back. Watch out for Volgin's electric shock attacks. If he shocks you when you've got a gun equipped, the ammo in the magazine's gonna ignite and the gun will explode. Either fight without a gun equipped, or quickly press the weapon window button to unequip your weapon when you're about to get zapped. After Volgin unleashes his electric shock attack, you'll have a split-second opening. Use it to attack him. Volgin uses a technique where he holds a rifle bullet between his fingers and punches his opponent while simultaneously causing the bullet to explode with an electric shock. It's a punch, an electric shock, and a rifle shot all rolled up into one. You've seen the damage it can do. It'll tear you apart if it connects. Dodge and weave, Snake. Volgin can use an electric shock to detonate the gunpowder inside an ammunition cartridge. In other words, he can fire a bullet with his bare hands. If he starts to ignite bullets in your direction, take cover. You'll get nailed if you just stand there. Snake, try using a chaff grenade. The metal foil it scatters into the air should dissipate electric shocks and make them less painful.
Major, they found the C3.
I heard. But I don't think they've found all of them yet. And even if they have found them, they may not be able to disarm them. Don't worry about the C3. Concentrate on defeating Volgin. Snake, look at the countdown timer. The bombs are about to explode. Hurry and finish him off.
Snake, you're running out of time. The C3 is about to explode. Hurry up and defeat Volgin.
Snake, time is running out. Hurry up and take him down.
Major.
Snake, are you all right?
Yeah.
The explosion went off successfully.
Yeah, but the hangar is still standing.
The explosion was smaller than what we had hoped for because the fuel tanks didn't catch on fire.
Fuel tanks were definitely...
Remember how the enemy spotted the C3 while you were busy with Volgin? They must have called in the EOD to remove the fuel from the tanks then. But still, the C3 alone should have been enough to take out the manufacturing line. That'll probably be the last one they'll ever make. You succeeded in preventing its mass production.
Snake, if you can take out the Shagahod that Volgin's in, the world will be safe from that monstrosity of a weapon. But you won't be able to take it down with the weapons you have on you. You have to come up with something else. It's time to rethink your plan of attack. First, get out of there. You need to shake your pursuers. Snake, leave the driving to Eva. You concentrate on fending off your pursuers and clearing the way for her. Don't worry about running out of ammunition. The sidecar seems to be loaded with plenty of it. Use first-person view to eliminate your attackers. The enemy will be coming at you from all sides, front and back, left and right. Use first-person view to take them out. Listen closely to what Eva tells you. Snake, your ultimate objective is to escape. There's no need to defeat every last enemy. Rather than attacking the enemies you've put behind you, focus on dispatching the ones that are blocking the way in front of you. Watch out for those guard towers. You don't want them sniping at you from above. If you see an enemy in one of the guard towers, take him out first. Snake, keep an eye on Eva's life as well. If she's killed, you're finished. Make sure you don't shoot Eva by mistake. You can blow up the drums placed throughout the fortress by shooting them. That should trip the enemy up a bit. Aim for the drums.
Snake, the enemy is hot in pursuit. If they catch up to you, you're dead. You've got to get away from them.
Snake, leave the driving to Eva and focus on attacking. Use first-person view to pick off the enemies around you.
Major, we're about to head for the rail bridge.
So I heard. You're going to take out the bridge and the Shagahod with it, eh? Nice plan. Let Eva do the driving. Concentrate on fending off your pursuers. You've got to make it to that bridge somehow. It looks like the Shagohod's fallen quite far behind. You're in the barracks area now. In just a few moments, you'll come upon Grozny Grad's northern runway. Keep going, you're almost there. Good, you've reached the runway. The rail bridge is just up ahead. You've got to hold on until you reach the bridge.
If you've got a sidecar on your tail, you should take out the enemy in the side seat first. That'll take a big chunk out of its firepower.
Major, the Shagohod.
Yes, I know. Pummel the Shagohod with the RPG-7. Even if you can't destroy it, you should at least be able to slow it down. Whatever you do, don't let it catch up to you. Snake, the Shagohod is coming up behind you. It'll overtake you unless you do something. Attack it with the RPG-7. You might not be able to destroy it, but you can certainly slow it down.
The Shagohod's machine gun has some wicked firepower, but you should be able to mess with its targeting system by shooting at the gun itself. If the machine gun starts strafing you, return fire. The Shagohod's missiles are radio guided. You can disable the guidance system with a chaff grenade. Try it out. If it's too late to use chaff, shoot it down with your gun. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but if anyone can do it, you can. If the Shagohod tries to bump into you, hammer on it with the RPG-7 or a grenade. Even if you can't destroy it, you should at least be able to trip it up a bit.
Snake, when the Shagohod approaches the bridge, that's your cue to start sniping the C3 bombs planted on the struts. Use the SVD. The C3 bombs are planted on the support beams of the front center side of the bridge. Concentrate on your target. You must destroy the bridge before the Shagohod makes it across. You'll be crushed if the Shagohod makes it across the bridge. On the other hand, if you blow it up too early, the plan will be a failure. Wait until the Shagohod is on top of the rail bridge to shoot the C3 bombs and destroy it.
Snake, you have to shoot all those C3 charges before the Shagohod gets across the bridge. Aim carefully.
Snake, snipe the C3 bombs planted on the rail bridge to blow it up. Normally, C3 is a chemically stable material. It's only when it receives a shock from the outside that it turns into an explosive. Eva's probably set those bombs up with detonators so they go off when they're disturbed by something. She must have done it to prevent them from being disarmed. Man, she thought of everything. Shooting those C3 bombs should set off the detonators and take the bridge down. Either the SVD or the RPG-7 will be good for this job. If you're really a hotshot, you can use an assault rifle or a handgun too. Just don't let me catch you using a tranquilizer gun. Clear your mind and focus on making the shot.
Snake, the rear frame of the Shagohod was destroyed when the bridge collapsed. The backside of the front frame is now exposed. Even the Shagohod is bound to have less armor plating on its backside. I'm sure you can penetrate it with the RPG-7. Attack the Shagohod from behind with the RPG-7. The area around the Shagohod's underbody seems to have sustained heavy damage as well. By hitting its base with the RPG-7 or a grenade, you can force it to change direction. That will surely make it easier to get behind it. Aim for the base.
The Shagohod's weapons are deadly. You're likely to get seriously hurt if you get caught in its sights. If you get injured, go into the survival viewer and take care of it immediately. Snake, pay attention to Eva's life gauge. Make sure you don't attack her by mistake.
The machine gun on that thing is deadly, but you can force him to break off his attack by firing the RPG-7 at the body of the Shagohod. If he starts strafing you with the machine gun, pump a rocket into the Shagohod before you get turned into Swiss cheese. The armor on that thing is rock solid, but you can compromise it if you hit it with a rocket to the inside. Every time he uses the heavy machine gun, the armor cover opens up. Aim for that opening. When he rams into you with that drill, he's got a lot of weight behind him. It does serious damage. If the Shagohod tries to ram you, shoot it with the RPG-7 to trip it up.
Snake, it looks like Volgin is using his own electricity to power the Shagohod now. Attacking the Shagohod itself at this point will have little effect. You need to aim for Volgin himself. If you attack Volgin from the front, he'll simply deflect the bullet with his electromagnetic field. Target him from the back and sides. You should be able to slow the Shagohod's movement by attacking its base. Aim for the base and immobilize it. There's a gun emplacement and an anti-aircraft cannon over there. They should deal a fair bit of damage to him as well. But stay there too long and you make yourself an easy target. If the Shagohod draws too close, get away from the emplacement immediately. Snake, pay attention to Eva's life as well. If she dies, you won't be able to complete your mission. Don't let Eva get caught in the crossfire by mistake, or there'll be hell to pay.
You can make your life recover faster by staying in a crouching or lying position. If you get injured, find some place where you're safe from enemy attacks and let your life recover, okay?
Don't try to shoot at Volgin from the front. He'll just deflect it with that electromagnetic field of his. Get around behind or to the side of the Shacklehide and shoot at Volgin from there.
Snake, you've got to make it to the lake. Leave the driving to Eva like before, and stay vigilant. The enemy is still in pursuit. Snake, you've got to make it to the lake somehow. She's waiting for you.
I know.
Snake, you're almost to the lake. Hold on just a little longer.
Snake, don't let the enemy catch up to you. Use first-person view to pick them off.
Watch out for the flying platforms, too. You can't afford to have them shooting at you from the air. Don't let them get too close, or else. Snake, you must shoot the fallen logs and branches that block your path. Follow Eva's instructions. Snake, the engine seems to have caught on fire.
We're almost out of fuel, too. But it only needs to get us to the lake. Just a little further.
Hang in there. Snake, stay on your toes. The enemy hasn't given up coming after you yet. They should be there any minute now. If you go southeast from there, you'll come to a road leading to the lake. Take Eva with you and head southeast. Snake, if the enemy catches up to you, stop where you are and fight them off. However, there's no need to defeat them all. As soon as you've beaten them back, continue on toward the lake. If you find a hollow tree or clump of bushes, you can hide there until the enemy passes you by. The enemy may try to get ahead and ambush you. Keep a constant watch on your surroundings. Use your sensors to stay aware of their locale.
You can treat Eva's wounds by selecting Eva from the cure screen in the survival viewer. If she gets injured, see to her right away. Got it? Snake, don't forget about Eva's stamina. She'll collapse from exhaustion if she runs out. If Eva's stamina starts to run low, go into the survival viewer and give her something to eat. To give her some food to eat, select a food item from food and press the enter button. Then select Eva, but don't give her anything rotten or poisonous. You and Eva are both exhausted. You need to take it easy. If you find a good place to hide, like tree hollows or bushes, lie low and let your life recover. Got it? I see it started to rain. You burn through stamina a lot faster when it's raining. It'll also reduce your visual range and make it more difficult to sense where the enemy is. Be careful. Snake, your escape is going to be a test of endurance. If you find edible plants or animals, be sure to catch enough for Eva to eat too. Snake, the lake is just up ahead. You can make it.
Snake, you're almost to the lake. You can make it, man. Snake, you and Eva are both in real bad shape. I wouldn't be thinking about taking the enemy on in an all-out fight if I were you. It's time to start laying some traps. Set up a trap the right way and you can stop the enemy in his tracks. And that'll buy you some time. Use TNT and claymores to give them a hard time. You don't have to beat all the guys that are after you. The only thing you need to worry about is getting away in one piece. Smoke grenades and stun grenades might not cause any damage, but they're pretty good at slowing people down.
Snake, what do you think you're doing? The enemy search party will be there any minute. Head to the southeast quickly. Snake, where's Eva? You're too far away from her. Go back and get her immediately. She should be to your west.
You've given her treatment, but Eva is still badly injured. Don't stray too far from her side. If you get too far apart, she might just sit down and refuse to move. Make sure Eva stays with you on your way to the lake.
Snake, the lake is in the northeast of that area. You're almost there. Head to the northeast and don't forget Eva. Snake, the boss is waiting for you at the lake.
I know.
That's all I can tell you. Finish the mission, Snake.
Yeah.
Snake, it's time to complete your final mission. This is where you fulfill your loyalty to your country, and perhaps to her as well. You must defeat the boss. The firepower of that Patriot pistol the boss is using is beyond compare. In a straight shootout, you'd lose every time. Your first concern should be to hide yourself while using camouflage. Maneuver towards the boss's blind side, wait for an opening, and attack her with a gun or CQC. Watch out for the boss's Patriot pistol. Any attack you make is going to be futile in the face of such overwhelming firepower. Attack her from the back or side. Use your camouflage to sneak into her blind spot. You can also crawl through the flowers in intrusion view. Use this technique to maneuver discreetly into the boss's blind spot. In first-person view, you can press the left and right step buttons simultaneously to prop yourself up. That way, you can keep track of the boss's position as you move. The motion detector and active sonar will also prove useful. Sneak behind the boss so that she remains unaware of your position. In a proximity encounter, the boss will obviously try to use CQC on you. By pressing the CQC button at the very moment the boss launches a CQC strike, you can parry the attack. If you're successful, you can maneuver around to her side. That's your chance to use CQC on her. But if you fail, not only will she throw you, but she'll disassemble your weapon as well. Watch the boss's movements carefully. Timing is everything. The boss has ordered MiGs to launch an airstrike. If you don't finish the battle within 10 minutes, you'll both be blown to bits. You must defeat the boss before the MiGs get there.
Snake, it's all over if you lose sight of the boss. Don't let those falling flower petals confuse you. The boss is human just like you and me. If she gets distracted, she's sure to leave herself open to attack. Try throwing a magazine or a captured animal and see what happens.
That gun the boss is using is a one-of-a-kind sidearm she had made especially for her. They call it the Patriot. Basically, they took the Army's experimental XM16E1, cut the barrel short, and took off the stock. It handles like a handgun, but it's got the stopping power of a rifle. Because the barrel is cut so short, it's got some nasty recoil, though. I can't believe she's using it with one hand. Now I see why she's the leader of the Cobras and a legendary hero. As long as the boss is firing that Patriot at you, frontal attacks are going to be useless. Get around to her back or side and attack her from there. Move! If the boss gets you with a CQC attack, there's a chance she'll disassemble whatever weapon you've got equipped at the time. The disassembled weapon will turn into item boxes and scatter around the area. Try and recover them right away. One tactic you might want to try is blinding her with a stun grenade or a smoke grenade. While she's lost sight of you, move around to her side or back and attack her. Snake, move through the flower field so the boss can't see you, and try to get behind her. Use the active sonar or the motion detector to figure out her position. But keep an eye on the batteries. So the boss called in the MiGs. The MiGs the boss called in are probably MiG-21s, a Soviet frontline fighter. They can be equipped with rocket pods and bombs for air-to-ground attacks. If the MiGs dump napalm on you, you can kiss your ass goodbye. You gotta beat the boss before that happens.
Hurry, Snake. You're running out of time. I won't allow you to die with her. Finish her off now, Snake.
Snake, you're running out of time. Hurry and finish her off.
Snake, pick up one of the item boxes on the floor. One of them contains a loaded revolver. My bet's on you, Snake. Pick up the gun.
Snake, pick up the gun already. Trust your instincts.
It's too late to back out now, Snake. Pick up the gun.